But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody's checking it out.
With the rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. They were too fast to be okay.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. That's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0.
Doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I am here with your co-host, Ash, the reptilian from Mars, and we'd like to say hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It's Wednesday night, and it's one of the nights we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what those things are. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, propaganda, the 24-hour news cycle, and the odd feeling that we live in the upside down. This show is live. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and DLive. We are taking your phone calls tonight. If you want to be part of the show, the phone number to call is 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can also join the show by using the Discord. Discord is a chat client. It's a voice client. It's what a lot of the youngsters are using these days to play video games, but we're using it to do a talk show, because why the hell not? Why the hell not? There are no rules. There are absolutely no rules. We will do as we please. But okay, now this is the deal, right? This is the show where we do talk about all this kind of wacky stuff, right? So, many times I'm asking for your forgiveness because, well, this is like we like to. I'm going to maybe coin a new term, speculation theater. Okay, meaning that we take a hefty dose of the maybe juice sometimes as we discuss these things, as we talk about these things. As we, basically just kind of speculate on what the possibilities are of the universe around us, and that's kind of what this show is really about. It's we try and keep one foot planted firmly in the real world, and kind of pay attention to that propaganda, like I said in the intro there, and maybe some politics here or there, but not too much. It's just the media landscape is just washed out in politics at this point, and it's become a tragic thing. It's become one of those situations where you're not even allowed to have a differing opinion anymore, or you're supposed to hate people, right? Everything's just washed in the race war they're trying to start, and all the rest of this stuff. It's just like I said, I've said this in the past many times, and it doesn't seem to be changing. But they're trying to divide us. All right, the entire media landscape is selected, pre-selected, and algorithmically fine-tuned to make us hate each other. And whether your skin is this color or that color, whether you're rich or poor, whether you're from South America or Russia, it doesn't matter. We're just supposed to hate each other because, of course, if we spend all of our time hating each other, what happens? We can't spend any time demanding change and agreeing on things together. You see, it's a big game. It's part of the media cycle, part of the government, part of that CIA operation known as, by the way, Operation Mockingbird. So it's long been known that the CIA works with the media to kind of push narratives, talking points, control news cycles, data dumps on Fridays instead of, embarrassing news coming out on Monday morning where everybody can cover it. They kind of squeak it in on barbecue time and hope nobody notices, right? There's an entire thing with this, and the reason we do this show is exactly the opposite of that, because I'm not trying to tell you what to think. It's a little bit, like I said, conspiracy theater, speculation theater, just meaning that there are things afoot that don't seem to be right. And so that's what we do on this show. A little extended intro there because I know we're picking up a lot of new listeners, and just want to explain because I realize sometimes you get the wrong idea. You tune in halfway in the show and you're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Well, okay. Anyway, there you go. Now I've explained myself. Not that I really have to. Like I said in the beginning, there's no rules. There's no rules here. We can do whatever the hell we want. So anyway, we'll tune into Ash in a second. He's got, I think, a small uprising on Mars he needs to quash, but he'll join us in just a sec. But so last night we were discussing just more of the UFO news. We talked a couple shows last week about how you just can't miss it. You can't miss the UFO narratives. They're just spilling out from 60 Minutes on Sunday to CNN to Fox News to all the rest of this. Just everybody's picking up the UFO narrative and running with it, right? So the deal with that is manyfold, actually. There's not even a single narrative here. You can't even get the UFO community to agree with each other, which is nothing new, to be perfectly honest. But I mean, there's a lot to it, meaning that first we have to kind of parse what the media was saying and what they were talking about, kind of listening to what how the government responds. Like we had that statement on the James Corden show with Barack Obama, and then we had the comment from Joe Biden where he ran off the stage and said, "Ask Barack again," and then we had the actual what would you call it? The press conference, the actual Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, that kind of gave what seemed to be a prepared statement, and kind of a softball question with a prepared statement from a reporter who still, knowing the question was coming, they couldn't get it out without kind of giggling just a little bit. So I mean, it seems like a lot of these narratives are pretty well constructed, that they kind of want us pointing in a particular direction with our thoughts and our ideas, just from a media perspective, from a control perspective. But I don't play that game. I don't like to play that game. I like to think for myself, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I mean, we still have the right to be wrong, do we not? One of the major themes of this show and what we always talk about. So in any case, yesterday, we also brought up the fact that Avi Loeb, interestingly, Avi Loeb, of course, of the astrophysicist fame of Harvard, and he did a bunch of work on Oumuamua and some of that stuff, right? Oumuamua, of course, was the first interstellar object that came into our solar system, and Avi Loeb infamously speculated that it could have been an ancient remnant of an alien civilization. And he speculated possibly a light sail because of its dimensions and some of the other things, right, that made it not look like a comet. Anyway, not to bore you with all those details, this is old news, but he did come out yesterday with a brand new op-ed. And with that op-ed, he actually described this. And this is kind of the theme of the show tonight. So let's start with that. So he actually said this. Let me start with this article here. Now, this is from Scientific American again, and we talked about this just briefly yesterday, kind of at the end of the show. I kind of shoehorned it in, but it's really worthy of its own discussion, which is really what we're going to do here tonight. So Scientific American, again, this is written by Avi Loeb yesterday, May 23rd, 2021, or was that 2 days ago? Close enough, a few days ago. It's very new. So how to avoid a cosmic catastrophe, all right? And so the subheadline here is an interstellar treaty with other advanced civilizations could stave off death by domain wall. And so we've talked about the CERN, the Large Hadron Collider, and the vacuum decay possibility that could actually bring about the end of the world. Let's say, if we're being just downright anti-optimistic, if you know what I'm saying. But that's been speculated that we have the power to actually do really negative things with some of the forces that we're meddling with as human beings, right? So
I'll say.
Oh, there we go. Earth to Mars. Tune in, Mars. How you doing, buddy? Welcome to the show. Hey.
I was like, I just let him go. I was enjoying myself.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
That's all right. That's all right. That's
I'm
all
just
right.
listening to the show. I'm just a fan. I started as a fan, right? So I'm still a fan. Yeah, it was good. Continue. Sorry, I just wanted to. You're talking smack on humans a little bit. I just wanted to be like, yeah, they suck. Reptilians are the best.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
My bad. I didn't see you jump in the Discord there. So, all right. So, welcome to the show, Ash. Ash, the reptilian from Mars. Apparently, we have a nice connection tonight. We must be on the correct side of the orbital pattern here. So, it's all good. But welcome to the show. What's going on with you tonight? Hopefully, Mars has no outbreaks of riots or any insurrections that need to be put down. How's everything looking?
Yeah. No coronavirus up here, guys. We're A-OK up here. The Jeff Bezos death camps have calmed down, I think, because he's going through that divorce, him and Bill Gates. So they're a little distracted these days, so gotten a little peace. So I'm here to talk about some tinfoil stuff. I got the transmitter up and running, and we're ready to go. I was listening in to you kind of communicating what the show is going to be about. So what is the show going to be about exactly, Mike? What was the topic again?
All right, let me finish. So here we go. We've got so Avi Loeb wrote this article 3 days ago, How to Avoid a Cosmic Catastrophe. And so what he's suggesting is not just like I was describing with CERN, how it could be a runaway vacuum decay that could cause the end of the world. He's saying that aliens might have some sort of particle collider that's tens of millions times more powerful than our particle colliders here on Earth. And as a result, right, if we can have a runaway vacuum decay that would destroy the world with our technology, he's suggesting that we might be able to accidentally, with alien technology, destroy an entire solar system. And so he's talking about maybe to stop this from happening. And again, this is where we do the conspiracy speculation theater here. We're going to kind of go out on a limb and consider this as a possibility of truth, is that the way we do that is by creating a treaty with other advanced civilizations. So let me just read a couple little sweet parts from this article to kind of get you guys up to speed on exactly what he's talking about here, and then we'll start with Ash and the rest of this. So this is what he's describing. Straight from the article, it says, would such a heat wave, and he's describing this particle accelerator on an alien scale, okay, that would be so large it could take out the solar system. And so he's calling it a heat wave. So here we go. Would such a heat wave be a reason for concern? The bad news is that we would not receive any advance warning before this cosmic disaster hit us in the face, because no precursor signal can move faster than light to alert us to the risk. But perhaps this is also good news, since it implies that any resulting devastation would occur instantly, and be as surprising as the Chicxulub impactor was for the dinosaurs. We would never know what hit us. So I'm not sure what's more terrifying than death at the speed of light. Well, I mean, you could snap your fingers and it's over, right? You really didn't even know what happened. So I guess that's a bonus. But then he continues. So he says, one way to avoid a cosmic catastrophe of this type is to establish an interstellar treaty, similar to the Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, signed first in 1963 by the governments of the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, and the United States. The objective of the Planck Collider Treaty, he's calling this, would be to protect our cosmic environment from artificially produced domain walls, which is this cataclysm he's describing. He's calling them domain walls. And then he continues, with no such treaty, we could only wish that all civilizations would behave responsibly when they acquired the technological maturity to build a Planck energy collider. We would have to hope that our neighbors would exhibit cosmic responsibility. All right, so I think that kind of frames us up properly in that Avi Loeb here, a very well-respected astrophysicist, astronomer of the highest rank, Harvard and the whole deal, he is suggesting that to avoid maybe kind of like we have here on Earth, like a nuclear treaty, so we don't blow each other up and destroy the planet. He's suggesting that if we do come into contact with extraterrestrial civilizations, we probably should create some sort of treaty where the technology that we do doesn't cross a particular line. And he's describing this vacuum decay and this Planck collider as he described it. And again, this is conspiracy speculation theater a little bit because we're going out on a limb, drinking some of that maybe juice. But so is Avi Loeb, and he's a well-respected astronomer. So there we go. I think that sums us up. So what do you think, Ash? Kind of going out on this limb with considering that. Okay, if we do make contact, the first thing that should probably happen is that we end up creating some sort of treaty so we don't destroy each other. I think that's probably an actual maybe a good idea there with the alien race, or you think we're just blowing smoke here?
Oh, I mean, we probably already have, right? It's kind of, this alien disclosure is kind of is slowly moving along here, but we hear rumors of something like far more progressed in the background. And if you think about it, think about let's say if let's say we were an advanced civilization, right? We would eventually move throughout the galaxy, move through. We do this here on Earth. It's just you just extrapolate, at a higher level. Is you would keep tabs on the less the less advanced civilizations. You keep track of them. You keep looking at stuff, and then when they're kind of ready, that's when you approach them or you manage them. And even with look at how the U.S. and other countries handle these third world countries. We're scared of them getting nukes because we're scared to use them. So I imagine it's the same for us. And so yeah, when the toddler has a gun in his hand, all the parents are going, whoa, whoa, whoa. They run over and they try to, it's something to deal with. And this has happened in the past where, it's well documented that UFOs were hovering outside of nuclear facilities. They were like glowing gold discs. And they were messing with the nuclear warheads and turning them off and on and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Basically sending a signal, cut it out. And supposedly, we don't know this, shortly afterwards, we had some sort of communication. A treaty was signed. But you know what? That's not confirmed. That's here or there. But yeah, blowing ourselves up, that's... It seems like it could be an issue.
Yeah, right. Well, and then you'll need a treaty for that again. So, and you know how treaties kind of go here on Earth is, they sign them and they're, they may be kind of relevant for a little while, and then the world changes, and then these treaties just kind of go by the wayside because they were written for them, 1968, let's say, and then now it's 2020, and it's like, what the heck is going on? Sorry, 2021. Strike my lips for that. But don't want to go back a year in time here. But you get what I'm saying. It's like these treaties. Sure, they can be signed as they do here on Earth, in a terrestrial fashion. But then, with that said, they kind of just dissipate over time, and new treaties need to be signed because new technology happens. Right? We're talking about possibly this is what the government should be dealing with now: treaties with AI and things like this. So what we're going to talk about tonight as we continue with this is Richard Dolan has also speculated on this. He wrote a book called, let me find that book here. The title of this book is actually written by Richard Dolan. It's called The Alien Agendas. a speculative analysis of those visiting Earth. And so it kind of starts like this, like very much like we're saying, if we have some sort of contact, as Avi Loeb here describes in this article that I've linked, you guys all have the link now, you guys can check it out. If that's the case, and we start with this treaty, that may be fine, right? And maybe all well and fine, or maybe this treaty was done. Let's just again take another hefty dose of the maybe juice, and say that the Eisenhower Treaty happened, right, way back when, with the aliens. But now, let's say it was a long time ago, and our technology has changed, and maybe the extraterrestrial presence may be getting uncomfortable with how we now have the Large Hadron Collider, and we're becoming more and more dangerous, not to ourselves but to them as well. So I don't know, right? So let's say that treaty was signed, then we have I don't know, maybe the aliens deciding that maybe the treaty is null and void, because of course it would really be in their court to decide that, wouldn't it? Being the let's say the predator of the situation, meaning they have superior technology and could probably just destroy us with the snap of a finger, or a webbed claw, or whatever it may be. But you get the idea. Is that if we have these treaties and the extraterrestrial presence that they're signed with decides, well, now this isn't doing. You guys are not abiding by your side of this. It's time to take over. I don't know. What does that look like? We're going to talk about that tonight with the Richard Dolan book here. We got Ash here, and I don't know, takes on that, Ash, before we come up to the bottom of the hour here?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, when you have the human species, you have these toddlers running around, they're picking up guns, grenades, and doing all this crazy stuff. At what point do you intervene? At what point do you manage them? And so we can project our human instincts or human thoughts onto this potential presence that's around us, and so we can kind of take guesses as to what it is, and that's what Richard Dolan does in this book. He kind of does an account of like all these extraterrestrial experiences and tries to put two and two together. And I honestly, I haven't listened to the book, but I've listened to some synopsises of it, and I just bought it. I'm gonna read it. I'll go through it, and we can follow up. But it's an interesting concept. So this comes down to kind of like the idea. Do you want me to just get to it? Yeah.
We got about 2.5 minutes before break time. So if you can slam it in there, you got it. What's the
awesome?
idea?
So the idea is basically, we got all this. We got disclosure being pushed. We've got a world in chaos. All this stuff's going on. Everything's upside down. But then at the end of the day, it's kind of okay, I guess. And it's like, who's running this? The elites are running around like crazy. This person's doing that. This Q and like all this stuff's going on. What's going on here? And you gotta wonder, who's running this? Who's running this show? And I would like to take our esteemed leader, captain of the conspiracy theory network and market, and that whole vertical is Alex Jones. And Alex Jones, you know what? His guess is aliens run this. And I actually have a little clip. I don't know if we have enough time for that, but Alex Jones thinks that aliens run the show and that they dictate policy to humans and our governments. And we actually have a little bit of evidence tonight. I have what I brought, and we'll do a little show and tell and see what Mike has. But I think we might be able to make a little case for it, at least make you raise an eyebrow. So, do aliens run this planet? Are they the gods, the long lost gods? I don't know. Let's see. And like always, we'd like to hear what you think as we kind of go through this topic.
There we go. All right, let's see if we can squeeze this clip in real quick. Let's see if it plays through. I'm going to hit it. Let me know if you guys hear this.
Smart compared to the public. I don't even know their master plans. So I'm like a color they just used in their painting. It's all they're doing, this big conductor deal, and that's what they're doing.
So is that your motivation? Are you like, I want to see what they're painting?
Yeah.
That's it. You just want to know what the fucking real thing is.
Exactly. And people need to just pull back and just go.
Okay. All right. Come on, Ash. Come on, buddy.
Well, it's my bad.
We're cursing.
I was like,
all right.
I realized that, and I was going to try and scream. at that point. It's covered up.
All right. So anyway, we're talking about we're actually talking about if the alien, let's say the treaty has come and gone, and the aliens have decided that they are not going to be doing whatever they're whatever we want. They're going to do whatever they want, and they're kind of running the earth. That's the speculation tonight. That's the maybe juice going out on a limb, talking about this stuff, and talking about you know what we do on this show. So here we go. Let's finish this up. End of segment 1. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. I'm here with Ash the Reptilian from Mars. Give us a call, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Don't go anywhere. More conversation about aliens, treaties, and us after the break. Be right back. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host, Ash, the Reptilian from Mars. And we are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and DLive. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. We're taking your phone calls. If you want to be part of the show tonight, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can be part of the show, and we are discussing these alien treaties. And if they're a thing, do you think aliens have any incentive to stick to this type of stuff? Avi Loeb thinks it's possible. I wouldn't be so sure. But of course, it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what you think. So give us a call, 702-957-1037. Welcome back to the show, Ash. Earth to Mars. Earth to Mars. 1, 2. Test 1, 2.
I'm present here, so I've got to score one curse word for tonight.
All
so
right.
I'm 1-0.
One demerit. 0-1, sir. You put the
0-1. That's it. No. I got it right the first time.
Okay, all right. So
yeah, my bad. That was Alex Jones on the Andrew Schultz show, and they have some colorful language on that show, so I apologize. But the remainder of the clip was Alex Jones going, "Yeah, I think aliens run things, and they're in charge." And they asked him more questions, and you know how Alex Jones is kind of silly and he's funny and crazy. Whenever he kind of gets into that kind of pocket, his face goes kind of like cold, like he's dead serious, but they don't take him seriously, right? So, but I could see it in his face. He's pretty serious when he says that. So that's a pretty bold statement, Cotton. And I don't know. Maybe he's right, man. He's right about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Derek in Massachusetts on the Fringe Discord here says, I think Alex is talking more about ultra-terrestrials than extraterrestrials. And he links a song here. Says there's no cursing in the song. So maybe we'll play that at the end in the third hour or something. But I've lost faith in the cursing humanity. But anyway, so okay. So with Alex Jones saying these things, and if he really believes these things, what do you think? What do you think? I mean, so we're looking in the face, basically, the possibility of an alien presence just running this thing, just running the planet. So what the heck does that even mean? So ultra-terrestrials, extraterrestrials, some say they've been here forever with the Anunnaki stories and the Igigi and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Some say that they've been underground for a million years, and now they kind of been running the joint, covertly throughout human history. So who knows, right? There's a whole lot of speculation here that people have done regarding this. But like I said, we're just, again, this is kind of the maybe juice type of show where we do that speculation and kind of open up the phones to you guys to see what you think about it. So I'm going to put the phone number up on the screen again because we're streaming on all these cool actual video platforms as well. Phone number's up, but what do you guys think? Give us a call. TroubledMinds.org, the official website, phone number, and the Discord is there, 702-957-1037. But all right, so I don't know. So where do we go from here then? So Alex Jones thinks it's possible. Then this book by Richard Dolan is where he's kind of discussing the entire theory, right? He's kind of going through some of his thoughts on if aliens are here and they have been here and they're running this joint, what would that look like? So I think that's what we're talking about tonight is what would that look like?
Yeah, and so you made a good point. You kind of ran through a gamut of potential things, right? So okay, so there's like we're alone in the universe. There's this and that, but I think that was a little bit more viable before. Whereas now, officially, we're at the point where UFOs are real. So we kind of have to have this conversation now as a species. Whether those UFOs turn out to be the Russians and the Chinese or actual extraterrestrials, we're waiting to see. But it does, the comments based on the people who are disclosing this information, at least their effort is to lean toward not, right? Is to some sort of ultra extraterrestrial presence. And so, Mike, you did a great job running through those. Have they been here? Have they always been here? Are we a naturally evolving species? Did they make us? Did they put us here? There's a lot of questions. And what is our relationships now? Is there one aliens? Are they all friends? Right? There's so many possibilities. It's such a complex tapestry it could potentially be of that answer. And I think, at some point in anyone's life, you kind of think, man, what is going on? And you look up at the stars and you're on this small little planet, not white, blue and green, beautiful planet just hurling through space at like a bazillion miles an hour. And you got to wonder, like, what's going on? So there's a few little breadcrumbs we can kind of follow and sniff them out. And so, I have a few here, but Richard Dolan does his own diligence where he kind of has a guess. He follows the yellow brick road. He puts them two and two together, and he's got some theories. So, yeah, let's actually, why don't we play a little Richard Dolan his book? So, it's Richard Dolan. He's not the kind of person to curse, but Richard Dolan is like. He's like he's like Mr. Nice Guy.
You're that confident.
Yeah.
All right, let's play this.
Yeah, I'm pretty. Richard Dolan on aliens.
Okay.
The clip.
Go ahead and set this up then. What exactly is he talking about here? What is going on with this?
So Richard Dolan, he took all this material. He tried to avoid this topic, as he explains at some point, but he investigated all the abductions, all this kind of stuff. I know a lot about that stuff, but he put it together, and he's kind of just talking about, what's going on here? What are the agendas, right? And this book is called Alien Agendas, and he tries to kind of peel back the veil. A lot of his research is based on Dr. David Jacobs. You guys are familiar with that? And let's hear what he has to say.
All right, let's play it. Richard Dolan on aliens and the alien agenda.
The reason I brought this up is if we are someone's project, like if there was some hypothetical extraterrestrial species that looked at us those thousands of years ago and said, close but not quite there, let's tweak them a little bit. Boom, here we go. Is that a possibility? If it is, then we might be somebody's project. In the line of what Charles Fort about 100 years ago wrote, he said, I think we're property. Maybe that's true. Or maybe we're someone's project. If that is so, all right, someone who decided that we would benefit from a genetic tweak, then what do we have to say about all the beings that people have been interacting with over the years? So let's start looking at that. I began by looking at encounters that people have had with completely human-looking entities. Or I should say entities that look human or looked human, but somehow or another didn't seem entirely human. So anyone who has studied this area knows that there are many such accounts like this. And they go back for thousands of years. And as a matter of fact, we've got some very, very interesting written accounts that go back at least several centuries. I have included several of those accounts in my book. None of those beings, this is very interesting to say, come across as hostile. Those types of encounters, the beings really come across mostly as standoffish, but they do seem to have had an occasional interest in monitoring the activities of our ancestors and very occasionally interacting with them. So combined with enough of good quality observations of UFO activity in ancient times, my conclusion is that at least one significant group has been here for a very long time. Now, there are many UFO sightings in the past that don't necessarily stack up to being all that much to get excited about, but there are enough of them that actually are quite interesting and quite compelling. So for that reason, I think that that's the conclusion I come to. There's been at least one group that has been here for a long, long time. Now, one question that I ask myself, and I'm sure you are asking at some point, is why would they look human? Why would any aliens look human?
Which is a hell of a question, of course. And so, good stuff by Richard Dolan as always. I kind of, my opinion of him changes. Like sometimes he seems like he's spot on. Sometimes he seems like he's out there. But I guess you have to take the context, right? If he's just speculating like we do, you can't think of him as being too far off the rails, because we basically, this whole show is off the rails. So I guess he's fine. I guess he's fine. All right. So comment on the Richard Dolan there. What do you think, Ash? So there's one entity, one race, he says, that he believes has been here for quite some time. What the heck does that even mean?
Well, I think your assessment of Richard's right. He's just he's trying to figure it out too. And anytime anyone sells something in the UFO community, it's like, oh no, red flag. But honestly, I'm glad he did write this book. It's kind of like he's taking like all the theories and he's kind of taking it to the next level, and he's putting all in kind of one place. So I think it's actually a really important book. That this is sort of a faction of the UFO community, like the Dr. Jacobs camp, where they think that people are being abducted. There are several different alien races that interact with humans in a variety of different ways. And that they have like godlike scientific powers that are beyond our understanding, and a lot of times their agendas are beyond our understanding. They're very secretive, right? So yeah, like that. Some of these groups have been here for thousands of years, but interestingly enough, he says that some of these groups seem to kind of have come onto the scene recently, which is interesting because I believe Tesla like reached out to some aliens and was talking to them. And that was like the Greys. And then like ever since then, we've been kind of dealing with him. And yeah, he's pretty up to date on the Dr. David Jacobs. I would say he takes that it's like a foundation of where he's coming from. But yeah, human looking aliens, that could be alien hybrids, right? But even before the hybridization, if you guys aren't familiar with this, it's basically like the abduction stuff. There was like, some I guess sexual component to it. It was really weird, right? In which people are being abducted, all sperms being taken. It's like weird, right? And so people didn't really want to talk about it, didn't know what it was. It seemed weird, and we didn't really understand it. But over time, it came to be. It's basically a genetics program where they're making like a new type of human that retains these alien abilities, and that is basically aligned to these aliens. And these hybrids exist on our planet currently for whatever reason. We don't know. And I guess that's the point of this book. There's like a lot of hypotheticals in there. What are these different groups? Like that's one group, right? There's other groups, mention the reptilians, these ones that look human, like we were saying. Is this something that they've done in the past? Is it? I mean, there's so much to kind of dive into, and like there's so much ramifications for these things if they're true, right? Like, we're kind of coming to terms. Oh, okay. So another thing he mentions in the book is we're also kind of like coming into a new era where we're global species, and we're changing very dramatically. And he hypothesizes this would be of great interest to the extraterrestrials at this point, where an intervention or some sort of influence would be involved for this, or a study. And that he even thinks that maybe we're the hotness going on right now. We're the most interesting thing going on, period. And that and the remote viewing guys also kind of confirmed that everyone's kind of looking at Earth and what's going to happen here. So crazy stuff. He's also trying to guess who's got what relationships, who's kind of friend and foe. But you know what? Even for a guy like Richard Dolan, at the end of the day, he he's fair. He takes guesses, but he doesn't know. Unlike David Wilcock, who knows everything. with those kind of guys.
His insiders. I love the insiders, the anonymous insiders. All right, so tonight, if you're just joining us, we're talking about if there was an alien presence here on Earth, or at least in our solar system, let's say, that have they infiltrated? Have they taken over? Have they been here for a long time? Is it a new thing? Is it an old thing? If so, all of that, right? Kind of maybe dabbling in some ancient aliens talk here, maybe dabbling in some new stuff with Avi Loeb kind of suggesting that we would have to have some sort of interstellar treaty with these extraterrestrials. Otherwise, we might be in danger of their technology. They might just like we kind of pull like a rototiller into a yard and destroy the anthole. They might do the same sort of thing, just kind of rolling in here and not caring. And maybe doing damage to us, possibly extinction style. So that's what we're talking about tonight. Again, like I said, sipping lots of the maybe juice and maybe discussing this stuff, thinking about possible explanations of why it seems like the world seems upside down. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Go to troubledminds.org. You can find the Discord and the phone number right there on top of the website. And give us a call. We're going to go to Paul in New Hampshire. Let's do it. Paul in New Hampshire, you're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Ash. How are you, my friend?
Hey, guys. How are you? Good to hear from you.
Thank you. You too. And what do you think about this stuff, man? You think it's a little bit too much maybe juice, or do you think that there's a possibility of the whole ancient alien hypothesis and they maybe run the joint?
Well, Mike, it's a great question, and I think just from experience, and, as you know, I've kind of been studying this for a long time. I think it matters more if I really come clean and say, that I am an experiencer. I've kind of got into this because of my personal experiences with, whatever you want to call them, UFOs, extraterrestrials. Again, I'm not going to have claimed to have seen an extraterrestrial. I've never been degressed, but I have been through the missing time thing. And to me, what seems to be going on right now is that this is, yes, all true. And it's been going on for a long time. And I think what we're seeing now is, like I said, the new age version of what's been happening. It's an ongoing education process. The extraterrestrials have been manipulating our DNA, plenty of evidence into that. And, there you go into the ancient alien theory, the skulls in Peru. But I think the biggest thing about this is that a lot of the news we hear today has already been brought up at one point or another, has been known for a long time, by the way. And I like to mention the guys that started this, like Stanton Friedman, who said this is a cosmic Watergate happening. So the gentleman that came forward tonight and said, I'd like to do we need to make a treaty. I think, in my mind, a theory is that this has already happened, and there's evidence to show that. You go back to the days of Truman, back when von Däniken wrote the book Ancient Aliens, and showed this evidence. And, a lot of people jumped on ragging him and throwing him under the bus. And I think that's more evidence, too, because the same thing happens today when somebody comes forward with a new theory or evidence. And let's face it, he was all about theory. The book was asking the questions, could this be possible? And then when you actually look at that evidence he showed, well, some of it might have been wrong. You might have, got it wrong here or there, but there's plenty there that you really have to scratch your head and think. And, especially with the DNA thing. Eggs showing up that have, DNA strands showing up in Egypt, carvings of these things, and the skulls in Peru, like I mentioned. And then now apparently there are scientists that have done these studies on this stuff and came up with more questions than answers, I guess. And that's where we're at now, I think, more questions than answers. It's an ongoing education process. And is it happening more now than it was before? I don't think so. I think it's just the next wave. Is it real? Oh, definitely. Definitely. There's plenty of news out there right now about it, but I think it's going to go through the cycle like this has happened before, and then eventually things are going to calm down. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, theory, but this is a very interesting.
Yeah, so with the theme that they're here, maybe running, let's say the pulling the strings behind the scenes. How possible do you think that is? I mean, so it's one thing to say that maybe the Anunnaki were here 750 million years ago, and they had a hand in DNA creating humans by meddling with apes and those sorts of things way back. But do you think it's possible that there's some sort of cabal maybe that's communicating with these aliens, and whatever's happening, we're kind of doing their bidding, their agenda in some capacity? Do you think that's possible?
I think it's yes possible, but I don't think in the vernacular that you're speaking of, where they're in total control. I think it's more of a we're the experiments. Linda Moultonhouse said it best. We're the petri dish. You kind of mentioned that earlier. How could this just be but then you got into how is it just one alien or more? Well, there's probably a hierarchy, just like there is on this planet, where there's one in control of everything. Who knows? Maybe there's aliens that come down and experiment on cows and put bugs here to see how they thrive in an environment. And we're the DNA experiment, so the Earth was set up for that. But I think my theory is that they don't pull all the strings. We're kind of left to our own devices. And then when we go and do something like invent the atomic bomb, which, you see again that this has been a cycle going on. And when it happened, all of a sudden the UFOs started showing up over nuclear facilities and shutting them down, basically. That if we get to the point where we're going to blow each other up, I don't see them allowing that. But not because they're pulling the strings. They're maybe letting us evolve at our own pace. If you look at Darwin's theory, there's no other animal that's evolved faster than humans, and scientifically speaking, we are an anomaly on this planet. So are they here helping us along, controlling us? I wouldn't say controlling, but definitely have an influence. And again, step back to the presidents and Truman, and not only theories but witnesses that have come forward between the Truman and Nixon years, and even Carter, Reagan, talking about the threat of extraterrestrials. If they were going to attack us, they would have. If they were going to stop us, but I think we need to be worried about who's controlling us now by our TVs and our own governments. And again, a hierarchy. It seems like if this is really going on, there might be a hierarchy in the extraterrestrial realm that is controlling this planet, but to a point where they're going to finally say, okay, enough is enough, and then we have to get, I guess, religious, because is there going to be another flood? Are they going to change it? There's so many ways you could go with this.
Well said, my friend. We're up against a break here, so we got to go. I appreciate the call. Everybody follow New Hampshire UFO Hunter on YouTube. Thanks, Paul, for the call. We'll talk to you soon, okay? Have a great night.
Hey, thank you, Mike. Good to hear from you, Ash.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. All right, Ash, we got a minute. Let's wrap this up. What's your the hot take on that phone call, and then we'll go to the break here. Test 1 2.
Yeah. Sorry, I was back on the stream. Yeah, great call. That was really good. He's getting good at getting through all the topics really fast. And I have to agree with a lot of what he said. And you know what? First off, he's an experiencer. There's a lot out there, Mike. Like, I've talked to dozens and dozens of people. Honestly, I kind of stopped because it was scaring me. Because it's one thing to it's fun, it's ideas. But it's another thing to physically get involved and kind of put yourself into that circle and to really make it a reality and put it in, shove it into your own life. But yeah, so basically we've talked about, our aliens running this thing. Did they create us in the first place? Did they modify us? I have a clip. We won't play it tonight, but it basically mentions about that. And where are we? What's going on here? How much influence do these beings have over our lives? And that was a really good take. Thank you for calling in, and it's good stuff. And we'll keep moving forward. We'll keep trucking along. We'll get through some more stuff. And please, guys, call in. What do you think? Do you think aliens are even real? Do you think they run stuff? Is there reptilian Illuminati? We'd like to hear from you. And feel free to share this. This is a safe space. a real safe space.
702
So please join.
957 1037. You can give us a call, 702 957 1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Mike. This is Ash. More talk of aliens maybe running the joint. After the break, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and I'm here with your co-host, Ash, the reptilian from Mars. And we'd like to say hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. This show is live. We are broadcasting on The Fringe FM. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and DLive. If you want to be part of the show tonight, the number to call, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can also join the Discord. It's a chat client. It's a voice client. Most importantly, it's free. You can be on the show that way. And what is this show? This is a show where we talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what they are. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. Tonight, we are discussing the possibility that aliens actually run this sucker. They run this joint, this whole planet, this whole solar system. They've been here for a long time, and we're drinking some maybe juice, some conspiracy speculation, as it were, and we're hoping to include you. What is all this about? And lots of UFO news coming out recently. Lots of government statements. Lots of people talking about this in the zeitgeist. It's kind of top of mind now. It's one of those weird spots where, I don't know, a little serendipity with this show. You know, like 3 years ago when we started this, there was no alien news. And now for whatever reason, a few years later, like alien news is off the chain. I have no idea what's going on. But anyway, Earth to Mars, welcome to the show, Ash. Are you out there? Can you hear me? Beep, 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 beep.
Hello, humans. I am present.
Present and accounted for, which means I'm safe. As long as you're on Mars, I'm safe. So let's keep it that way. All right. So we were talking about Richard Dolan and Alex Jones and some of the takes on this theory, right? This ancient aliens take, maybe the ultra-terrestrial take, where they've been on the planet for millions of years, kind of maybe underground, or who knows, right? Like what the heck is really going on here? You want to sum this up and get us started for hour 2 here?
Yeah, so we're talking about, where does, in our crazy world of what's going on these days, who's doing what, these guys are fighting these, left, right, Middle Eastern wars, like at what point do the aliens begin and humanity ends, right? If aliens are real, if UFOs are real, and we can extrapolate that aliens are real, who are they? Have they been here? Do they control us? Do they run things? And we talked about in the last hour where we maybe they created us. Recently Chinese scientists put a human genome into a monkey. So will those monkeys evolve and wonder about their creators and also be disappointed? maybe. But where does it lie? Recently, Mike, you mentioned this, is that aliens, there was that a Israeli chief of security, it's a pretty high level person, claims that we're dealing with the Galactic Federation, and that they potentially want to disclose, and that we're moving forward, that that our governments have conversations with these beings, and that policy and all sorts of stuff is dictating. We have a little evidence here we're going to get to, but I don't know. I kind of lean to. We hear all these rumors of treaties, the Eisenhower Treaty between the Greys, that there's tall whites, reptilians that have supposedly been in the government, all sort of crazy stuff. Fox Mulder didn't manage to get the secret. What do you think? What do you think, Mike? Do you have a stake in this game?
No, I don't think so. I think my stake is the conversation. So I don't really, it's not like I'm going to get rich if the aliens show up tomorrow or anything. It's not like that at all. So not really. I think that I think it's worth discussing whether there's notable people, there's people in high levels of government that have stated these things as true, and so whether you believe that or not, fine, but it's still it's kind of like listening to the guy on the corner with the Bible yelling at people that the end is nigh. Like not that I'm not crapping on religion, don't get me wrong, I'm just saying that the doom preaching is a thing. It's and people kind of trying to scare folks is definitely something. And I think an interesting. So I had a conversation with Rohan last night. What's up, Rohan? Shout out if you're out there listening. And he was kind of describing that it's just it's fear. It's fear. It's just what comes as the narrative from the media. So it kind of makes me wonder if some of this alien stuff, right? This this secret agreement with the U.S. government and some of these other things are less based in reality and more based in like these fear narratives of trying to get people scared to death. Like you said yourself, Ash, you started, you talked to a lot of experiencers, and at some point you just kind of got creeped out because there was a whole bunch of just weird stuff, right? A whole bunch of like, okay, well, this might happen to me one random night on a Tuesday at 2 a.m. or something, So I don't know. Like I'm kind of caught in the middle here. I don't want to just crap on anybody's claims outright because they're your reality, But I'm also very skeptical of anything that comes out of governments and media in general. So, which is again why we've always done it the way we do it in this format. So, meaning that we take calls from everybody. If you're an experiencer and you want to describe what happened, perfect. There's no better place than this because we're not going to tell you you're wrong. I'm not going to make you feel like a fool. You don't even have to tell me your real name. It's all good. So anyway, we got a caller on the line, and we'll take this in a sec. But anything else to add on to that before we go to the call?
No, I mean, yeah, it's tough, man. It's like, at the end of the day, if you don't see it for yourself, you don't know if that's real or not. And it's tough because a lot of people, that is their experience, right? They experience these weird things. This is happening to them. Dr. David Jacobs hypothesized that 8% of the population is being abducted, and it's going to keep growing every year. And you're right, man. It's like it's kind of like yeah, I don't know if it's bad or good, right? And I don't know if it's true or not. But if it is true, then it's like, oh crap, it could happen to me, right? It could happen to you if you're listening, And someone shared experience where they woke up and there's a being next to them, and it's a terrifying thing, right? And people go through crazy stuff, but yeah, something's going on, right? Maybe not. But let's get to the caller. Let's see what they think.
Let's do it. All right, let's go to. I believe this is Ross. Is this Ross? Let's see. Yep, Ross in looks like Florida. You're on Trouble Minds with Mike and Ash. How are you, my friend?
Absolutely. How are you doing, Mr. Strange?
Doing very well. Thank you for calling tonight. What is on your mind? What do you think about all this crazy stuff we're talking about?
There's a lot of things. So originally I was not a tinfoil hat wearer or any of the conspiracy theories about aliens. Always intrigued by them. But I did have a personal experience, not necessarily, so to speak, with aliens, but with Area 51 and Nellis Air Force Base, to be specific. Little background history of me. I don't think your viewers really care too much, but I'm a Navy veteran, 7 years in the Navy, combat veteran, and went to Vegas with my motorcycle club. Was hanging out with them, got jumped, stabbed, and they found my military ID and dumped me off at Nellis Air Force Base. At the time, the only thing that I could think to do was to climb over the fence because I was military. Well, anyways, that military base ended up pressing charges on me being in the military. for trespassing, which is weird. If anybody here is in the military, like you show your ID, you get in.
Right. Especially stabbed and beat up. You'd expect some kind of courtesy, professional courtesy. Jeez. Sorry, go ahead. I'm laughing. I'm laughing with you. That was awful.
And that put me into like further thinking, because I found out I went to a University Medical Center, which was fun fact where Tupac actually died at, because it's the only like level 1 trauma center. I'm sorry, I'm not a medical expert, but that's where I woke up at and was like, why did they treat me this way? Why? I'm currently active duty in the military, combat veteran, been overseas, been to the Middle East, been to Somalia. Okay, let's put it into perspective. You remember, what was it, like 5 years ago, the Iranians captured the United States sailors?
Yes, I recall, yep.
I was actually a boat captain for them the deployment before. My wife was actually currently on deployment when that shit happened.
No cursing, please.
So, put it into perspective, this made me like kind of research things and try to figure out what the hell is going on here, where they are so distant from their people. And currently I'm out of the military. Actually looking to run for Congress here in Florida for the district. Not this election in 2022, but 2026. I guess that would be the appropriate time. So I've been rolling with these guys and stuff, but all the stuff that's coming out about the aliens and all the stuff about conspiracies and everything that goes on, there's a lot of stuff that goes unseen.
I agree, which is why we're here talking about this. So what do you think then? So do you think that there's a lot of speculation on all sides of this basically whatever the heck is going on with not just the media coverage but the government statements with people claiming to have insiders, people saying that there's galactic federations and we're in contact with aliens. Like literally the takes are all over the map on this. And there's some people that are like, well, the FOIA documents don't say it, so it doesn't exist. So where do you stand on this? Do you think that we have some sort of alien contact? And if we do you think they actually are in some sort of control here?
I don't think like a formal contact. I don't think like they're in control of things. I mean, I would assume that the aliens are smarter than our current presidency and the current shit that's going on right now with everything that's going on in the world. I mean, maybe they are watching and laughing, watching people make stupid mistakes about racism and about rioting and about, placing blame, divide and conquer. I mean, history repeats itself. But I think we are just finally dipping into a situation where we are able to acknowledge them as being something, because anybody with a smooth brain can figure out if there's microorganisms on Mars that in further galaxies, somebody's a little bit more advanced than we are. I mean, the possibilities are endless, and that's not something that I particularly try to entertain my brain upon, because I do have a human brain just like the rest of us here, and we can only control at this point in time our situation that's going on currently. So the conspiracies and everything else that's going on currently is something that I'm very interested in. And the fact that they're starting to show like, oh, well, there's actually things that are defying gravity out there in aircraft that are not able to be done by humans. Well, that's just a bonus. But I'm not Elon Musk. I don't think that you're Elon Musk. I mean, you're Mike Strange, but like it's a good thing to question everything.
I think so, and I have no insiders, no inside information. That's the whole point, right? I think it's probably almost better to not have any of those, quote, connections, because I think it taints your worldview a little bit. And you might be played, to be honest. I mean, Paul Benowitz is played by Richard Doty, and, it drove him nuts. He thought he was, they were trying to bring aliens into his brain or something like that. So I don't know. Like I'm not sure I'd trust an insider to be like, oh, hey, Mike Strange, what's up? I've got some info about those aliens for you. I'm not sure I'd want it, like, honestly, just because it kind of corrupts you. It makes you think that you have answers when you may not, and it may be completely false, So anyway, we got to go, Ross. We got a caller right behind you, and we got Ash here too. I appreciate the call. First time caller, right? Ross from Florida.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I started listening to you whenever all that Nashville shit happened.
You did it again. That's 3 S's, 3 S bombs, bro.
Different points of view.
That's 3 S bombs, bro.
What's up with that?
No cursing on the radio. We're on the actual radio, man. It's okay. All right. So we'll talk to you next time. Thanks, Ross, for the call. Ross from Florida. I appreciate you listening. Thank you for the call. Thank you for your service. Thanks for the great takes tonight. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey, before you cut me off, though, I'm a sailor. You're drinking a Navy juice. You can't expect some words to slip out. I'm completely sorry about that, but okay. Born like a sailor, cussed like a sailor.
Gotcha, bro. Have a great night. I appreciate it, man. Talk to you soon. Okay, so, all right, this is the deal. We got another phone call, but Ash, I'll let Ash catch up. I know he's listening because he's got some problems with the audio because of my fault. It's my fault. Thanks, Ross. I appreciate that phone call. Like I said, we're just, we're trying to get syndicated here and get on the greater radio spheres, and people cursing on, when you call, like, you can say crap, you can say ass. That's it, right? That's it. Everything else is not good. So please help respect that. And if you got to slow down and speak slowly and parse your words, that's fine. But just trying to do something here, and it doesn't help when you guys are, we're making mistakes here and mistakes on the other side, and it frustrates me. So anyway, we got another phone call we'll go to in a sec. But what's up, Ash? What's up, buddy? Are you there? Earth to Mars.
Oh, I muted myself. So this is all my fault, guys. I started it. I cut. It's like I broke the seal, and I summoned the curse word demon. So my apologies. In my defense, it is Alex Jones. So I actually should have screened it beforehand. But no, yeah. I take on aliens, man. It's like I think as if disclosure keeps moving. We're less and left field, right? As we talk about this stuff, people start moving over. They start gradually getting a little bit closer and closer to us. They start entertaining these things. But once your reality has moved a few certain points in a certain, like into like the woo-woo, then and you start to see that some of this is real, it changes you. It changes what you're open to at least entertaining. And look, you don't have to believe everything, and I don't believe everything, but you should have an open mind. And when you look up at the stars and you see how vast the universe is, once you start understanding that stuff, you get that data, you got to be like, come on, man, right? Come on, man. There's got to be some. Come on, man. There's got to be something more. So, again, we're talking about whether or not ETs run this. Like, what is the relationship? Are they in charge? Are they not? We had callers who said that they were pretty hands-on, other callers that said they were hands-off. But I will say, so Richard Dolan is a ufologist, and he wrote that book, Aliens Agendas. And one of the things he said is that we are at a critical point where we're becoming a globalized civilization, and that we're advancing very quickly. Our technology with AI, with biology, genetics, all this stuff is happening so quickly that our civilization can go in a couple different directions, and that a lot of different aliens could have different agendas. These extraterrestrial civilizations, these potentially interdimensional civilizations could just want to steer us toward themselves, right, as a potential ally, or maybe they're interested in our planet and they're rooting against us. And, we don't know what galactic law there is. We don't really know, as the public, at least, doesn't know the situation, right? So it's hard for us to kind of discern these things. But, it always goes back to, and what frustrates me is, what role has the government had? The government is a lot of people, a lot of different factions, a lot of different layers. The government is like an onion. It has layers. Which layer is is communicating with these extraterrestrials. We hear all these rumors, we hear all these comments, and we get blips of this. In the John Podesta email leak where he talked about what is it? What did he say? It's urgent awareness of. My Catholic colleague brings up to date Vatican awareness of ETI and that there's 0 point energy. And here's the quote. Take this quote. This is from John Podesta. He was like the head of the Democratic Party. He's heavily involved. This was an email from the sixth man to walk on the moon to John Podesta. And here's the quote. Remember, our nonviolent ETI from the contiguous, which means like next to, universe are helping us bring 0 point energy to Earth. They will not tolerate any forms of military violence on Earth or in space. And when that word, they will not tolerate, that means they are in charge, right? So, boom, that's official. You can look that up yourself. John Podesta email link. This was not supposed to get to the public. There's a little bit more information in those WikiLeaks that came out, WikiLeaks for the emails. And there's some other stuff there. I won't get into that, but yeah, it's pretty fascinating. It's pretty interesting. How long has this been going on? Potentially, where there's the government's communicating with all these different groups and has all this technology and all this stuff, and we've just been kind of like behind. Maybe they are a breakaway civilization.
Could be. Let's go to Derek in Massachusetts. What's up? You're on Trouble Minds with Mike and Ash. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Mike. Hey, Ash. What's going on? Great show.
Thank you. Go right ahead, sir.
Yeah, we're kind of close to a commercial, so I don't know if I can get all of this in now. But,
it's okay. Can you wait? If you can wait, go ahead and start. Go ahead and start, and then we'll hold you over if that's cool.
Okay. Yeah, so we're talking about like the treaty and like when did this start happening and stuff. So the treaties always kind of get pointed to like the Eisenhower era, so, and the kind of general tone of what these treaties are about is usually like exchange of technology for like abductions and stuff. But I always kind of think about like these abduction phenomena has been going on like well before the ET phenomena has become like a zeitgeist type thing. Like this was going on virtually throughout all human history. It's taken many different forms, whether it be like elves or fairy folk or whatever, but the idea of getting abducted by something supernatural like this has been happening forever. And now it's kind of taking this technological ET prism. But I've just been like kind of fascinated with this idea of what if there's something that can kind of take many forms. And like as soon as people start talking about like maybe ETs aren't like what we think they are, then you immediately get pigeonholed into this. What are you, kind of some kind of Christian conservative who thinks aliens are demons? And that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's something maybe perhaps weirder than what we think is going on that's actually going on. And then you're like, well, who's in control? And my first thought is, well, secret societies seem to have a lot of power in this world. And do secret societies, are they worshiping aliens usually? Like, what are they usually worshiping? Like, for me, it's some kind of like extra-dimensional entity. It's some kind of ultra-terrestrial, some kind of demonic entity, if you want to use that word, or something that lives or exists on another spectrum of energy than us, like the ultramagnetic, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I hear the music. So.
Yeah, I follow you. Yeah. So we'll get back to you and finish your thought in just a sec. But I think you may be onto something here. Is maybe those two things are not one and the same, but they're close enough that it's worth a different type of discussion. I appreciate the good stuff. We're here with Derek from Massachusetts. We're here with Ash, the reptilian from Mars. I'm Michael Strange. This is Troubled Minds. We'll be right back. Hang tight, Derek. We'll get to you right after the break. Okay?
Yep.
Thanks. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. More discussion about aliens and do they run this joint when we come back. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host, Ash the Reptilian from Mars. We have Derek from Massachusetts, the Night Stalker, on the phone. We are streaming on DLive, Facebook, and YouTube. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. We're taking your phone calls at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can find the phone number and the Discord link at troubledminds.org, the official website. Click the Discord link. It's free. It's great. 24 hours a day conversation. Lots of good, smart people in there. Let's go right back to the phone call. We had Derek with a fantastic thought. Let's get right back to it. Do your thing, Ash. I know you got a handful of maybe bloody humans over there. So finish that up. We'll go right back to Derek, and then we'll get to you in a sec. Let's go, Derek in Massachusetts. Welcome back, my friend. Carry on with your point there. You were making some good stuff.
Okay, so just like a kind of a little thought experiment. Like, I like the idea of some kind of like hidden hand, like outside of our reality, kind of guiding us through history. But just to kind of put it in like the space, space. I'm getting a little bit of echo, but just to kind of put it in the space perspective. Imagine there's some kind of like super advanced AI. Like, imagine a human, like an Earth-type planet somewhere, like incalculably far away from us, creates like an AI, all-powerful hive mind or whatever. And they wanted to dominate the universe. They wanted to colonize all of space and dominate all of space. How would they do it? What would be the most efficient way for them to do it? Like maybe sending out some kind of like human workforce or some kind of alien workforce to the planets around them, the galaxies around them, would be efficient that way. But how would they get somewhere on the opposite end of the universe? Maybe by like, if there's some kind of AI thing, they wouldn't care about time really. Time wouldn't be a factor for them. So they might do it through like directed panspermia and that whole idea. So they would send out some kind of like spore or whatever throughout the cosmos that bubbles life throughout the universe. And as these worlds kind of pop up to different levels of evolution, they might send out different waves every few million years. One wave will be like the building blocks of life. The next wave can be like a bump up in their brains. And the next wave can be like a psychedelic, and that could bring in like McKenna's stoned ape theory and the idea that psychedelics brought this big change from monkeys to humans and that kind of stuff. But also psychedelics and those kind of aspects open like a door to communication with them, possibly on the other side of the universe. And how many people throughout history have credited psychedelics or some kind of contact with another entity for their technological discovery or their idea, their inspiration? Like everyone, Isaac Newton, everybody, like up until like Steve Jobs in the modern day Silicon Valley. So it seems like if you're looking at human history and humanity from Prometheus, it seems like we use technology, like we track history through technological progression. So what if it's something guiding us from the outside to create technology, to create some kind of vessel that once we flip the switch and turn it on, it then exists here now. That same AI from across the cosmos then exists now here. Like that's how it dominates the universe. That's how it travels. Rather than by ship, which might be impossible, it creates something that will create itself for it. And like the people in charge right now, how many times have you heard the word technocrat over the last 2 years? Like the ones in charge are this technological priest class that's kind of like, and since you factor in secret societies, which Secret Society 101 they're making deals, exchange for information, for like they're getting something from the other side in order to open these doors or create these vessels that could potentially house these entities, you know? And then it takes many, and then the UFO idea, like what's flying around in the sky, like the human mind is weird. Reality is weird. We know that what we see as a reality is 1% or less than what is actually there. We can't hear dog whistles. We can't see infrared. We can't see microwaves, et cetera, et cetera. You know, so like, what if just right now in this technological age, they're now taking the shape of metal crafts and now this disclosure is going to be a way to bring in this new era of technology, whatever this flying saucer technology is, whatever this free energy is. This is a way for them to usher this in now, and also potentially have some kind of space battle and like some kind of Cold War in space or whatever, with some kind of alien conflict or some kind of China has a UFO type false flag crap. You know what I mean? Anything's possible on different levels, but it seems like the end goal, what's driving us, is this race for technology to like maybe like create something to house an entity that doesn't exist on our physical plane. And that kind of seems to be the through line, guided by these events throughout history. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, I like it, man. That's a kind of a really, really wide arc of kind of explaining it all, man. Are you putting together a theory of everything? Because I like your version, I really do. Meaning that cool. I'm not making fun of it at all. Like just that. So through entanglement, you're saying that instead of traveling through crafts to get here, it's a sort of way kind of back to the motherland, but the motherland is who knows where the hell else on the other side of the universe, and they'll never get here. Go ahead.
Exactly. If time isn't an issue, if you can never actually travel to where they are, or like how would we dominate? Let's say we got to the super advanced position. How, like, other than opening portals to the other side of the universe, how would we ever get there? It's like, but if time didn't matter to us, we would just if we're some kind of like godlike entity or some kind of like we're just if human being reality is like ants in comparison to what their reality is, then it would be nothing for them to just pollinate space basically with the building blocks of life and then guide it kind of throughout until it reaches this point where it flips its own switch, and then you exist in that spot, and that's kind of how it'll butt up throughout the universe, and then that's just if it's in space. But then it could also exist within the electromagnetic spectrum and just not have a physical body, and that's the kind of the whole Lovecraft old gods type thing, something that's like outside of our reality, desperately trying to bust in or desperately trying to get in, like with a body, and that could be what this whole technology is, trying to was perpetuating itself in order for us to create the thing that will allow it to exist here, and that's kind of what seems to be controlling everything. And UFOs play a huge role in that with the technology aspect, But also, that's kind of like the best way I like to unify everything. But separately, I also do believe that there are aliens coming from space, too. So, I'm open to all possibilities. I don't want to say that Ash isn't really on Mars, and that's all fake, and he's really a demon. That's not what I'm saying.
I appreciate that. the illusion must persist. Okay, so fantastic stuff, man. Like always, your theories are blowing my mind here. I don't know kind of where to take that other than to say that holy smokes, man, holy smokes. I like the idea, and so basically they've tricked us into creating these artificial intelligences that are somehow going to usher in, for lack of a better term, that demonic entity or whatever it happens to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we're creating it. We're opening the portal.
The Christian and the Christian and the Bible, the demon people have taken that and been they're trying to bring in demons, and that could be one way to describe it. But I think all of these mythologies might not have it exactly right, and they might be trying to all describe something else that might not be that nobody's exactly nailing, or they could all be right, and it could all be this just giant messy web of weirdness, But it seems to be a major through line is trying to create this vessel, And then the UFOs just play massive alien technology, it's aliens and UFOs and space travel. It's really gone hand in hand with this technological boom, especially if you factor in the whole Roswell thing, and all that kind of stuff, So, and then especially if at the beginning of the virus, there was a lot of shows doing, is this virus from space? And 30 years from now, the last 19 months or whatever, that the big takeaway could be, it's when we really started to live on the internet. It's when we really just all moved into this digital world where everything is on the internet now. The technological boom of the virus might be its most lasting impact. So that could be once again this intervention that they did in order to bring in this new era of technology. I don't know, but I don't know what the most immediate thing. I don't know what the disclosure thing is, other than maybe a space conflict, some kind of something blew up in space, an advanced craft. We don't know whose it is. Or just we have new technology. Here it is. Here's the next 100 years of humanity. All questions, no answers.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. We're in the same boat there.
I'll let you go though.
Okay, I appreciate the call, Derek. Derek from Massachusetts. That's a Night Stalker. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate the great takes. So a lot there. Holy smokes. Derek always blows my mind with the stuff he's talking about. And think about the several layers there. Directed panspermia, talking about maybe we're being tricked into kind of seeding the galaxy or the universe in the name of whatever entity is on the other side, and that could be in the physical universe or somewhere else. And we're kind of building this technological portal of sorts, not like an actual portal, but a technological portal where we're eventually going to possibly let them into our body. Crazy stuff, man. Great take there. Great. Like I said, there's a lot to this, a lot of moving parts, and I think that's as good as any I've heard. Pretty good stuff. I know you heard part of that, Ash. Those bloody humans consumed. You
Yeah. I mean, us reptilians have been waiting for this moment for a while, and someone with the will and the strength could clearly very much take advantage of it. They can only get their dang spaceship working again. But Richard Dolan talks a little bit about this. That we are building an infrastructure, right? A global infrastructure on our planet over time, and that it could be. If you have aliens come in and they just swoop down and they just try to rule us with the iron fist, they're going to rebel, and it's just a tough situation. It doesn't seem how these beings potentially do things. It's kind of like a more indirect thing, and as we kind of are leaning in the direction of technology, we're like assimilating, like almost like a Borg, right? It's like are we becoming the Borg, and are we allowing this Borg entity to potentially move in and just, control Earth. And this is something I kind of want to bring up next. And he made a lot of good points that, about the potential interdimensionality of where these beings can come from. And that time, a lot of people argue, well, why don't they just come down? Well, if time's not an issue, all they got to do is pop in and out of time every once in a while, manage the timeline, and just make sure we go in this direction. It could literally just be like corrupting a certain individual to kill a president, and then maybe that sets the timeline right. It could be very simple adjustments, and so that their influence could be basically benign, right? You wouldn't understand that it's there. So, are we being directed towards something with this whole COVID thing? It was clearly an attempt to create some sort of infrastructure across the planet, some sort of medium to guide different countries. Like, we're all wearing masks. The next thing you know, maybe we kind of, a lot of people know where they were trying to go with it. The passports, right? Where you have a pass, you have some sort of new global identification, right? And this globalization pattern is being pushed. But who is directing this who's directing these agendas? How many layers up does it go? Is there some reptilian? Is it some interdimensional entity influencing maybe the Vatican? You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know where this stuff's coming from, because there's a line where our government, our elites, they don't communicate with the population. But I like to say that people are getting smarter, and the rate of them trying to do these things, these false flags, all this kind of stuff. And I'm not claiming COVID's a false flag, but it's definitely, if it was or wasn't, it doesn't matter. They're going to take advantage of it, right? And so they're going to try and push the needle. They're going to try and move toward whatever they're trying to move toward. And just like Alex Jones says, it's like this quilt. It's like they have this end game in sight. And is it being dictated by these beings? I mean, if there's just one immortal being with technology 1,000 years ahead of us, it could be Satan. That could be what they're talking about. It could be anything. All these ancient religions, Moloch, all these beings. It could be this entity that is trying to steer humanity in one direction, and maybe there's entities that are trying to steer them in the other. And that's kind of like where our language differs. Is it a alien? Is it a demon? Is it is it Satan? Is it this? It's like, what? We're humanity. We're all on the same team, right? We need to be on the same team. And whatever's going on, they're trying to divide us by everything, race, gender. Like, we need to get over that. We need to be a team, right? And we need to explore these ideas. That's like a great book theory he said, but it's potentially real, right? Like, you can't say it's not. You cannot say it isn't. That's not. It's just made up. It could be like it could very well be real, and we need to kind of look at these things and explore them, because you know what? If we don't, and it is real, we're in trouble. So yeah, great call. Sorry, that was a long rant.
No, you're good. It's a talk show after all. Yeah, you're entitled.
I guess I should talk, right?
Yeah, talk.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, good. I think that's a great way to kind of frame this. Is that there are basically powers that be that we kind of have no concept that they exist, right? And I think that's really what we're barking at here. And again, as Derek said, as Ash has kind of added to those thoughts, is that that they say that in the Pentagon, that we're not studying UFOs because they do think they're demons, and so not in like. Of course, that would be the religious linear demon sense of angels and demons and like good and evil on this thing. But what if whatever we're talking about, this entity, this whatever it is from the beyond, the great beyond, is not any of those things at all? It's maybe it is us. You guys seen Interstellar, right? With the when they actually went into the black hole there. Spoiler alert, 10-year-old movie or whatever. But I mean, it's like they were able to contact themselves in the past through these slices in time, and and that's is based on theoretical science. So if that's the case, and we're looking at kind of a bigger maybe dimensional ally or enemy or whatever it is, maybe the only reason we're here is because of those entities. And some people have said that, right? Some people have said it's a biblical, some people have said it's the Anunnaki, some people have said that Genesis or all these things. But you kind of turn it into basically whatever you want to turn it into. I mean, religion becomes mythology, becomes Richard Dolan and Eric Von Daniken with Chariots of the Gods. So I don't know, man. I don't know. We're blowing my mind tonight a little bit, because sometimes the scope is quite larger than I've ever really considered, and this is kind of one of those nights where you get some things and you're like, do the whole head explode emoji. But yeah, holy smokes, man.
Well, so to take like a specific Ash Reptilian hot take on it, the mantid beings that we're talking about supposedly live for thousands and thousands of years, and one claim to like be in charge of our solar system. This one being that's jacked up on AI, that has like an intellect of like 1,000, who knows? It is connected to all the other beings in the ship. They're a collective hive. So where is humanity moving toward? We're literally moving right into a passenger aboard these ships. You look at these theories, these things, and you're like, okay, that sounds crazy. But then you see where we're going, right? And it's like chips in our brains, more and more connected. There's a story where there's these hybrids, and one of them gets like upset, and the other hybrids and aliens and grays and whatever, they calm him down. They're connected to them. I mean, isn't that just social media? Isn't that just like a more complex form of this simple social media? Our nervous systems are getting more and more connected. If you try to say something, you get censored. The mob puts you down, right? And the authorities, the elites. It's just like a more efficient and rapid form of what we currently already have. But I will say, it's kind of a little scary where we're heading, where the individual freedoms, the individual kind of gets swept aside. And maybe aliens are looking at us going like, that's pretty nice, and maybe they incarnate as humans. They like come in and take a human ride. And maybe that's been going on for who knows how long. Or some families or elites or groups have been dealing with them for a while. But we clearly have some value. Otherwise, they would just wipe us out and then just move in, right? There's something that we have of value, one way or another, and we can assume things, but at the end of the day, we kind of don't know. Like, is it literally like Adreno home? Adreno, you know what I mean? Like, are we a crop?
I'm following you there. Yeah.
Are we a crop, or are we gonna be? Are we a pet? Like, is there if there was a dog world, we'd be like, wow, what are the dogs doing today? Or Cat World? Can you imagine Cat World, the cat videos? Whew. They're like sentient cat beings, you know? Are we a project? It's a lot. And different civilizations, different beings will look at us differently and have different agendas. And that's that Richard Dolan book, Agendas. So anyway, sorry, I cut you off. I was just trying to wrap it up real quick.
No, you're good. You're good. So we got one more phone call. Let's go to this real fast before we finish up. Again, we're going to do a third hour off of Fringe. I know for those of you that are wondering what's up with Fringe, I know there's a lot of dead air these days. Joe Roop is also, he's the host of Lighting the Void, the owner of Fringe FM, and he's in the process of moving, just to clarify, so for some folks that don't know. And so if you're wondering, the Fringe is not dead. It will come back alive and strong. And the only reason I'm able to do this is because my gizmo to dial in works, and other people's are broken. So I got lucky. So just to let you know, that's what's happening and what's going on with the radio station. It's coming back probably within a week. It'll be back and better than ever. So just FYI. That's what's going on with that. Joe moved from New York State to Arizona, and he should be settled fairly soon. So there we go. All right, let's go to Austin in Michigan. What's up here on Trouble Minds with Mike and Ash? How are you, my friend?
Hey, how you doing, man? I called in yesterday. I just wanted to clarify, like, what's best, to call in or on Discord?
That's up to you. It's up to you. The only reason we have a Discord running is because some people are international. We have people listen all over the world. So if the long distance doesn't bug you, just call the phone number. It's all good.
Yeah, it doesn't bug me. I was just making sure because I don't want to be like adding on to your bill or whatever.
Nah, you're good. Either way, it's fine.
I could just like join Discord.
I appreciate you asking. Either way, it's totally fine. Whatever's more convenient for you. So what do you think about this stuff? Do you think that the aliens in some capacity run this joint, or do you think we're off the rails here?
Oh yeah, there's so many. Like I'm a huge. I like to look into a lot of this. Jordan Maxwell is always something I've fallen back on though a lot. Like at first, like he just blew my mind, and I just had to go all over the place to try to figure out like what he was saying on my own. And then lately, last few years, I've been falling back on his stuff a lot. But he seems to be heavily hinting towards some kind of influence of that. And I was listening for a little bit on what you were talking about, and it's really hard to pinpoint it from where I'm standing. I just agree. I think it's true.
Okay, fair enough. I apologize, Austin. I'm going to have to leave it there because we're out of time. If you want to call back in the third hour, you're definitely welcome, okay? Thanks for the call. That's Austin in Michigan. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the phone call. All right, let's finish this up, Ash. We got a minute or two. Let's wrap this up. What is going on in this world, my man?
Oh man, I don't know. Really, I don't. But the more when you don't know, you like ignorance is bliss, right? It's the right, it's the left, and you start looking at it. It's like, oh, it's Mossad, it's this, it's that. It's oh no, maybe it's the aliens. It's crazy. It's a crazy world we live in. Crazy time. The only thing you can guarantee is change, right? Where things are changing, times are changing, right? As they say. And stuff's getting real. And, are we going to merge with the Galactic Federation of Worlds? Or reptilians going to invade? Going to be a false flag alien thing? Meteors? Man, I don't know. But we are in this together. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys for calling and sharing your stuff. And, let's stick together. We're all on the same team. Well, you guys are. I'm literally trying to conquer and enslave you. But I've been pretty incompetent so far, so I don't know. You don't have to worry about me yet.
So far, so good. Follow Ash the Reptilian from Mars on YouTube. He's here every Wednesday with Troubled Minds. And we're done. Be sure, be strong, be true. One more hour of Troubled Minds on YouTube, D Live, and Facebook. And don't worry about Fringe FM. It's going to come back soon, better than ever. So thanks, guys, for listening. Thanks for hanging out. We will be in touch tomorrow. Troubled Minds, 7 p.m. And Fringe, better than ever, coming to a city in the world near you. Thanks for listening, guys. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with Ash the Reptilian from Mars, and we're just fresh off a break. So I got some cold beer and just had a handful of cashews, and I'm good to go. I'm good to go for another hour. So this is the deal. We're still talking about, do you believe in some capacity that the aliens or whatever it is, the entities that be are in some sort of control, some sort of charge of the Earth, of the government, of the solar system and the universe, even at large. Had some great calls tonight discussing this and maybe kind of taking these theories maybe to the next level and the next level beyond that, which is fantastic. Kind of why we do this show, to again in a live format, to get your hot takes and what the hell you think is going on. Like I said, I can't even begin to fathom some of the things that you guys call. I have to it's going to take me 2 to 3 days just to process some of this stuff, which is great. Perfect for me. It's I'm going to spend a lot of time thinking about it. Speaking of the Night Stalker, what's up? I see you on YouTube there. What's up, buddy? Great call again. Fantastic stuff. All right. Welcome back, Ash, if you're there. Yeah. Test 1, 2.
Yeah, I was just huffing these Mars geysers.
Tell me that.
I'm ready for the third hour.
Are they in season? They in season? They taste good?
Oh, I don't know. Once I start huffing them, I don't even know what's going on. I can't really.
All right.
It's kind of like I'm like, if I was gonna write a. I actually had a friend. It's kind of a funny tangent, but I had a friend, and he took some acid, a little acid. I've never done that stuff myself. And he took it. He's at my house, and he was basically not really there the whole time. And he's just kind of woozing in and out. And he starts working on this tapestry in the corner. And I'm like, wow, this is going to be fascinating. What is he going to draw under the influence? And I'm like, man, what insights are I going to see? And this guy's he's working on it for 3 hours. He's off in the corner coloring like a toddler, just really focused. And I'm like, he finally walks away, and I'm like, oh man, what did this guy draw? And I sneak over and I look. It literally looks like a toddler just drew colors.
Wait! It looks like a what? You stumbled on your chuckling. What did he actually draw?
It looked like a toddler just scribbled on a page with different crayons. It looked horrible. It was I'm like, oh, okay. It was kind of. It's so bad.
That's the dimensional creator, bro. That's the flying spaghetti monster right there. That
was that entity he was talking about. It was channeling through him.
Exactly.
He was trying to manifest a body.
Exactly.
Man.
Yeah. I don't know. Crazy stuff here. Now this is amazing, right? We have got the phone calls have lit the fuck up. We've got a full board of phone calls right now because I guess everybody wants to.
Oh, they wanted the third hour.
To show up and say bad words. You guys are a bunch of sailors. All right, let's just take them in order. We're going to burn through these, so if I cut you off a little faster than usual, you understand because we have a whole board full. All right, let's go. You're on Trouble Minds.
In the Navy, we can say fuck.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like it.
You're on Trouble Minds with Mike and Ash. Who is this? Who am I speaking with? First name, where are you calling from?
No, it's Ross again. I wanted to apologize to you first and foremost for cussing. I did not realize that was the thing.
You're good, bro.
And
it's okay.
I don't know. Pretty much kind of want to leave it at that. I wanted your insights on what you think is going on because I know you've taken in what everybody else thinks, and I kind of want to know what you think.
I don't know what to think, to be honest. So I do know there are forces at work here that people cannot comprehend. That's what I think. And what those things are, I don't know. It does seem to me that we're under some sort of influence. And, of course, like I said, I like to keep one foot in the real world and talk about mass media and government control and, the partnership there. But, kind of like beyond that influence, I don't know. I'm not particularly in the know. Like I said, I don't have any inside sources or anything like that. But that's why I love hearing from you guys because it does expand my mind with, as you could say, expanding consciousness when you start to take phone calls like that really make you consider things you never even thought of. So that's I'm in a privileged spot here because I get to hear all the best takes, and that's from you guys. But go right ahead.
So can I potentially blow your viewers' minds and stuff and bring up some sort of theory that I have? It's in relation to extraterrestrials and everything else.
You got it. So I got a bunch of calls right behind you. So you got 2 minutes. We can't let you go for too long.
All right.
But go ahead.
No worries. So what I got to say is, what do you think about religion? And religion being created. What the fuck? Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Sorry, I have nothing going on, but okay, religion was created because humans always have to know an answer to something, and that is what drives people wild, is they don't have any idea about what's going on. God damn it. So, terribly sorry, but religion was created.
Ross. Go handle that. I'm going to mute you. I'll come back to you in a sec. We got callers behind you. Hold tight. Keep that thought.
Yeah, no worries. It's finished. I turned it off. I'm getting phone calls just like you are.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Finish up then. Sorry.
All right, so religion was created to keep people in line, basically to create like law and order for people before laws were created. I don't necessarily believe in a book that was written so many years ago when I don't think that you could give me your great-great-great-grandfather's name, let alone, let's say, Jesus. So it's all directional to keep people in control. So I believe that there is a situation like with the extraterrestrials and stuff, and a higher power controlling people, meaning like training their minds to believe something, because the human mind is trained to have an answer, if that makes sense. Like, we have to have an answer to everything. Instead of UFOs being a phenomenon, we have to know what they are and why they are there. Why do people exist? And what makes things happen? So I think there's like a deeper connection with religion, to be honest, because it's all an idea. Nobody's idea is wrong. Christianity's not wrong compared to, Islamic or Muslim or even the Jewish, anything. That's just their beliefs, and that's what keeps them on par. Like, there's no definitive answer, and
yeah, I can buy that. But, basically, let me rephrase just so I can understand that. Basically, like, religion is sort of like a universal speed limit to kind of keep us in a state of consciousness that is manageable, maybe to the entities outside of our world. Does that make sense? I think that's kind of what you're trying to say.
Yeah, it's just really hard to explain. It's something I can't really like platform out, but like it's as serious as like you don't know your great grandfather's name, but you expect us to follow these rules and stuff like it was, the commandments and everything else. Thou shalt not do this or that, but it's the same thing with this interdimensional, like the talk that we have, because I don't know, it's extremely hard to like explain. What would you say in Earth terms? But
I got you, man. It's okay. It's okay. Here's the good news.
Go ahead and take the next caller. I wanted to say I'm sorry for cussing and put my little 2 cents out there, and maybe think about that. Think about religion. Think about everything's connected, and there are different powers out there doing different things, and we don't know where it comes from.
I appreciate it. Ross from Florida, thanks for the call. We'll talk to you soon, okay? We are back online tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific, so maybe we'll talk to you then. Have a great night. Thanks for the call. Great takes, and appreciate that a lot. Let's take Ash on that. I don't want to wash my ass out in callers, Ash. So I know you heard some of that. So you want to chime in there before we just blow through some more callers?
What about washing my ass?
That was my ass. My
friction. No, my ass got scales. So you go the wrong way, you're gonna be bleeding. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, all right.
But I'll take it. I've been on Mars by myself for a long time, and I've lost my sense of smell. You know what I'm saying? Because I just can't even deal with it anymore. It's just pretty bad in this cave. But no, first off, Dame, and see, he's outstanding individual, right? Like calling to apologize. Appreciate that. But yeah, it's religions. There's a theory that this is a prison planet for souls. All the troublesome souls get dropped on this planet, and that humans were sort of created and nudged along to be a vessel to contain these troublesome souls, and that technology and all the potential things that we could utilize to become problems again are removed. So we truly are a prison planet, and that religions train us to continue to maintain that cycle of being in the prison where our souls get wiped of memory and reincarnated. And that's like pretty out there, right? But I don't know. We've done a lot of shows where we get these blimps of like spirit wizards and all this kind of stuff. So who knows what religions are for? Maybe religions were introduced. Maybe it was just a knee-jerk reaction for us. It's like whoever worshipped the aliens got to live longer, so that whoever had those kind of genetics propagated more into the population. Or maybe it's something like you're right. It's a control system for humanity, and if to keep us in structure. And if they are masters of time, if they do have these abilities, they could literally go, "Oh, all we need to do is, create this one like event in Russia, on the Russian continent, and that neutralizes a potential threat like 1,000 years down the line." We don't know what we're dealing with, right? Like, we really don't know. And I suspect that a part of our government also isn't quite sure exactly what we're dealing with, or most of our government doesn't seem to be.
Yeah, they seem to be clueless about a great many things. I guess we could probably all this is the funniest
yeah, that's
part.
Fair.
Right? Yeah. So if you're like, okay, people can't agree on shit. Oh yeah, how about that? The government doesn't know a damn thing about anything. Everybody raises their hand. Yeah, yeah, we agree that that's the case.
Oh yeah, okay. Yep.
There's how you not. Yeah, look, there's how unite us guys. How you unite us guys. I can't say it, but they're not allowing it, right? With all the division, politicking, and all this other crap. So interesting is that there is something people can probably agree on, and it's the government doesn't know shit about anything. Couple quick shout outs. Tam Bam, what's up? We got Lazy Guy X. We got who did I miss? Night Stalkers in the chat. We've got I think we're good. Let's go to Robert. Let's see. We're just going to take you guys in order. Let's go to Robert in Pennsylvania. What's up, my man? You are on Trouble Minds with Mike and Ash. What's on your mind tonight?
I've got something that just went off. It's going to be off the wall. It's going to be off out of the box.
Perfect.
Right? And it started with something I heard you say earlier in your show. All right, and you mentioned briefly that you're trying to get syndication. I
Yes, sir.
presume that's radio syndication.
Yes, sir.
Yes. One thing I really would like to see sometime. You know how FX Network and Sci-Fi and Investigation Discovery, those kind of, the IFC, they all do documentaries about the supernatural, right? This has been going on forever, right? But I've never seen a television talk show, all right, like you would be Johnny Carson talking about these matters, and maybe Ash would be your Ed McMahon, but there needs to be one like that. And one of these networks should put that kind of show on. It's a live talk show, just like you have right now. People call in, all right? It lasts an hour, all right? I think that would probably take off. But do you guys have agents?
No. Ash, do you have an agent on Mars? I do not. That's a good question.
All right. Do you do anything?
I did have an agent, but I killed him. He got on my nerves.
Sorry, go ahead, Robert.
Do you guys do anything to help publicize yourselves? You know, like
there's all kinds of
call up and have interviews with newspapers or magazines, things like that.
Nothing like that. No, there's all kinds of stuff going on behind the scenes.
Then I'm going to tell you how to. Then I'm going to give you some advice on how to start that, because that's how you get in syndication. All right, you need to have publicity for them to see that this is somebody that maybe we should invest in, and the best way you could do that, Mr. Strange, is to write a book about troubled minds. It's been on a long time. All right, you can not just talk about the show, how its beginnings, but you could also put in there how you put it together. It could be a learning device for other people who want to do this type of thing. But the thing is, if you could put that together, all right, and get that and publish it, you know, hopefully traditionally, all right, and it takes off, there's your key to syndication.
Well, okay,
because
so
that's the kind of publicity that works.
You are correct. Let me tell you, though, with Fringe FM, we're already in partial syndication now. So that's why we're trying to kind of stamp out. Yeah, so we are actually on with Baker Media on there's a actual terrestrial radio station in Fort Smith, Arkansas that plays Fringe late night, and we are part of that. So it is not it's not like you think. We are in partial syndication now, and clearly, if we do a good job, it'll grow. So that's really what we're going for here.
Oh,
so,
you're going to grow because this is one of the most entertaining streams I've ever, in the last few years I've ever seen. You guys have charisma. I think that you and Ash work so well together. That should be a thing.
That's because he's an Ash clown. Ash clown. That's why. Yeah, to take my shot while I got
okay.
it. Robert, I appreciate it, my friend.
Have you thought of writing a book about your show?
Yeah, honestly though, I'm not interesting. Honest to God, I'm not an interesting fellow. So if
wait a minute, wait. If you weren't interesting, you wouldn't have people tuning into you.
Well, it's not that though.
That's fact.
Well, it's not that because I'm a normal dude and I'm talking about interesting things. So that's what it is. It's not.
But you did something. You've created something, right? There are people out there who don't know about the show, all right? Probably more people don't know about the show than do, right? And you need to publicize it. And one of the ways you do that is write a book about the show, all right? And how you put it together, all right? That kind of stuff is, especially, how do you do a podcast like this? How do you put it together? All right, you didn't just start out knowing what to do. All right, you should share in that book, along with the story of your show, how you put it together. To that be education for other people who might want to do that.
Yeah, so we've
got. It also would give you the kind of publicity, another form of publicity that would help you broaden your horizons. As far as that's my opinion. As far as your syndication, trying to get on the more radio stations. Although I still think you should do TV.
Oh well, this is the
Nobody
beauty.
Does that? You should send a perspective into, I would say, the Sci-Fi Network.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
They don't. All they do is run movies and old series. They don't have a live show on that network, right? You should send a perspective and give them the idea and see what they might take it.
Yeah. So
I know I'm talking outside the box, but that's how people get famous.
Exactly. Well, again, I don't know. Like I said, this is not about making Michael Strange famous. That's not what this is about. This has been a passion project that I always believed that there was a greater truth out there that came from the people around us that never had a voice. That's what this is about. So you're correct. You're correct.
But it's like somebody who says, "I'm a writer, all right, and I know this truth, all right, but besides, well, as long as I can get a few people to see it and see the truth, you can't." What am I trying to put across here?
You're okay.
This is not a career for you. That's basically, I think, what I'm catching here, and it should be, because if it's a career for you, it's something that everybody, a whole lot of people tune into because they learn something from it. And they can't learn something from it if it's only a select few that tune into it, and you need to help your people find you, right?
Okay.
Because it's important. What you put on here is not, just plain old crap. This is very important stuff here, and you got very intelligent people who tune in now. But there's a whole world of intelligent people who don't even know you're here.
Exactly, you're right.
And that's a shame.
You are correct. And so things are moving and things are changing. So I can't really say anything yet. We don't have a deal with Sci-Fi or anything like that, but we are taking the next step for a couple of ways.
You don't have a deal because you haven't sent them. You haven't given them suggestion.
Well, of course. But maybe that's next. So, like I said,
nothing ventured, nothing gained.
I can't.
Bet nobody's ever put an idea like that across to them.
Robert,
they might grab you.
Robert, do me a favor. Help me out by sending them a note as well. I appreciate a lot.
I will.
Ash says he's very.
You don't even have to have a studio. You got it right there.
Behind me.
That could key right into their network, and
yeah.
And the show's on its way.
Check out this
But
this
write the book.
sweet black and white globe behind me in this sweet old school TV. Yeah, this is the studio right here.
It's nothing different than Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, we got calls behind you, man. We got to go. I appreciate your enthusiasm. I appreciate the advice. You were correct.
Write the book.
You were correct.
Write the book.
Thank
Write
you.
the book.
Thank you,
Write
my
the
friend.
book.
Okay, you got it. I'll start work on it right away. Thanks, Robert. You're the best, my friend. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great night. Thanks for the enthusiasm. There you go. Look, if you thought nobody out there loved Michael Strange and Ash and Troubled Minds and the thing that we've built together, like, trust me. Like I said, we're very flattered. Trust me, though. This is nothing without you guys. Literally half of the crap I say comes from you, because you guys have taught me a ton of things. So that's really what this is at. You want to gush a little bit, Ash, because that was a fantastic call. He even said you're talented, Ash. If you can believe that.
I mean,
holy shit, man!
He must be crazy. He must be. Hey, man, I'm just here because if I don't have an outlet to talk about this stuff, I'm gonna go nuts, bro. I'm gonna go absolutely nuts. So I'm just grateful you guys listen to me and you don't get your pitchforks out and just burn down my place, So, but yeah, that was really good. And he's got a point, Mike. Okay, he's saying he loves your show so much that more people should listen to it. That it's got value. And I say this. I talk to people all the time. They I'll tell people, I'm like, hey, man, China's making human pig hybrids. And they're like, I'm like, no, I'm telling you a fact right now. And they're like, oh, really? And then I'll tell them like 5 other things just because we do the show. And they're like, have confused looks on their faces. I'm like, yeah, nobody's covering this stuff, right? And you do that, Mike. And it's a real injustice. Like, there's so many interesting things, at the very least, interesting things going on in the world, and people aren't talking about them. And so, we're talking about aliens running the government and stuff. And it's like, who's to say that's not true? Because a lot of these other things are true and no one's talking about them. There's nowhere place to talk about them. And this is a conversation that humanity should be having. We should be having these conversations about these things, if they're cool, if they're not. And it feels as if we're like cast to the side. We're like not allowed to participate. So you bring a lot of attention to these things, to China, harvesting organs, to all kinds of stuff. And I consume a lot of YouTube content because there's nothing to do here on Mars. And I was a fan of the show first, where I'm trying to find out what's going on. And Michael Strange is talking about some stuff other people aren't. So anyway, I'm going to join the train of kissing your ass for a second. But he's right. We should be on every radio. They should put chips in people's brains so they can hear what we have to say. Only what we have to say.
We should be the brain.
Oh man, that got corrupted really fast.
Yeah,
holy shit! That felt great.
That went bad fast, bro. That went bad fast. All right. We got 2 more phone calls. Let's take these. You guys have been waiting a very long time. Thank you. This is Robert in Washington. You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Ash. How are you, my friend? Test 1 2.
On the road.
What's up, brother? You're on.
So yeah, it's Robert. I'm the dude with all the Tesla stuff.
Oh, right on. Welcome back, man. I emailed you. You're supposed to be on the show at some point. What happened?
I know. I'm taking my time. I'm not going to do. I want to make sure it's proper.
Okay. All right. That's cool. Let me know. Send me a message back, and we'll get you on. It's no sweat. You got my email. But what's on your mind tonight?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys are talking about aliens involved in our lives, yeah?
Yes. Is there some sort of alien mechanism of control somehow in our life and in let's say the Earth and let's say the universe at large? Do you think it's a thing?
Absolutely. So the thing is we've been, well, not me and you, but our people at large have definitely been involved in this for a long time. The way the world works and the way that the people are definitely
Robert, you're cutting out. You're cutting out, my friend. We didn't catch any of that.
Sorry, I'll step out a little further. Can you hear me better?
So far, so good. Continue, sir, please.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we've definitely had some sort of influence from beings that are not from this place. It's hard to explain, but yes, they're in contact with our government, and it's not our government; it's a worldwide government. And there are people or beings that live here that are contracted with these otherworldly beings. This is a known fact. Like you can look it up through predating the FBI. So the fact is these people have been coming in here and basically monitoring us, and seeing the way that we are operating. And if we're not operating in a way that they consider appropriate, then they're not going to give us any more of their technology or anything like that. So, like I said, I'm really closely connected with Nikola Tesla, who was a Venusian, and he's from Venus. This is actually on record from the government as well. And my personal goal is to get the system online so we can utilize things that aren't like, fossil fuels and attributes like that. So really want to ask Ash, does he believe he's from Mars, or is he living on there right now? Because Tesla communicated with Mars. He was a Venusian, like I said. So that'd be a pretty interesting conversation. But
okay, all right. So here's what we're gonna do. We got a call behind you, so we're gonna. I'm gonna ask Ash that same question, and we're gonna move on because we got a call behind you. Everybody's been waiting a long time, including yourself. I appreciate the thoughts. Thanks for the call. Do me a favor, email me back. We'll get you on the show at some point. Okay, I appreciate it. Robert from Washington. Thanks for the call. I will ask Ash, and good stuff, man. Good stuff. I know you heard part of that, Ash. Do you want to respond to the? Do you want to tell people where you actually live, or do you want to keep it as a dance, Ash?
Oh yeah, they take my home and they just freaking whitewash. They you know how they take NASA takes the footage and they just Photoshop me out, right? I tried showing my rear to the to one of these Mars rovers. I'm not sure which country it was. Yeah, and then I was waiting to see it on the news. Didn't see nothing. It's just BS. Jeff Bezos, he's got these camps out here, and they're slaves, and there's some sort of Amazon facility where they have all these enslaved people up here. And then I'm waiting for Elon Musk to make his way up here. I think Elon Musk is a chill dude. I think he'll let me hop aboard, and then I could finally come to Earth and conquer it.
Yeah,
and rule it.
And rule it.
Yeah.
And to give you the actual answer, we're not trying to mislead anybody here. Mars is Ash and Mars is satire, just so you know. If I'm officially making a statement, it's not going to go to a press conference or anything. But don't.
Sure.
But Ash and Mars is a satire thing. Anyway, let's continue, shall we?
You guys.
Let's continue, shall we? We had lots of people on the phones waiting for a long time. You can deny that all you like, Ash. That's my official statement on the matter, and I'll never say it again. All right, let's go. One more question. Louis wants to know, Ash, are you a shapeshifter?
know what? My shapeshifting thing malfunctioned. We kind of all get it out of the gate. We have this really advanced technology where we can, VR and like simulations. We've kind of been down that road. We got a whole like AI simulation thing. Anything you want, you just Westworld that stuff up, and so we can project and cover ourselves up. I mean, that's what Justin Bieber uses, right? I don't know why he chose that form, whatever. But yeah, mine's been broken for a while, so I don't know. When I come down there, it's not going to matter anyway. I'm doing the old fashioned approach. I'm just lasering the White House. I'm sending ultimatums. I'm just gonna get it done. One couple of days, bring humanity to its knees, start taking over. Don't worry, it'll be better. It's better this way.
All right, perfect. Let's go to Kelly in Colorado. Now that we have the Kelly from the west of the Colorados, you are on Troubled Minds. What's up, buddy? How are you?
What's going on, fellas?
We're just having a good time, man. Drinking some beers and having a good time. How are you?
Good, man. Good. Just listening to the show tonight. Pretty good topic. So I just thought I'd throw some stuff in there because what's his name had it right. What was his name? The caller that was talking about like he had that crazy theory. Well, actually, it was actually a pretty cool theory.
That's Derek. That was Derek.
No. Is it Derek?
Yep, Derek from Massachusetts. No. The Night Stalker,
the one I was
right?
saying that was kind of like, yeah, the Night Stalker. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
For him, it was. I just wanted to say that what he was talking about, and actually what the show was actually kind of talking about tonight, it always reminds me of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. And if you don't mind, I would like to read a little bidget out of here, so you'll know what I'm talking about.
Go right ahead, sir.
Okay, it starts out. Well, it doesn't start out, but this is on the 8th tablet. It's called the Keys of Mystery, and it's just a small section out of here, but it kind of reads a little different, so you got to bear with me, right?
All right.
So I'll read this a little bit faster as I can, but it goes: Speak I of Atlantis, ancient Atlantis. Speak of the days of the kingdom of shadows. Speak of the coming of the children of shadows. Out from the great deep where they called the wisdom of earthmen, call for the purpose of gaining great power. For in the past, before Atlantis existed, men there who delved in darkness, using dark magic to call up beings from the great deep below us. Forth came they into this cycle. Formless they were, of another vibration, existing unseen by the children of earthmen. Only through blood could they be formed beings. Only through man could they live in this world. In ages past, they were conquered by the masters, driven below to the place hence where they came. But some of them who remained, hidden in places and plains unknown to man, lived they in Atlantis as shadows, that at times appeared among men. Aye, when the blood was offered, forth came they to dwell among men. In the form of man moved they among us, but only to sight they as they were men, serpent-headed, when the glamour was lifted. But appearing to men as men among men, crept they into the councils, taking forms like they were unto men, slain by their arts and the chiefs of the kingdom, taking their form and ruling over men. Only by magic could they be discovered. Only by sound could their faces be seen. Sought they from the kingdom of shadows to destroy man and rule in their place. But know ye, the masters were mighty in magic, able to lift the veil from the serpent, able to send him back to his place. Came they to man and taught them the secret, the word that only a man can pronounce. Swift they lifted the veil from the serpent and cast him forth from the place among men. Yet beware, the serpent still liveth in the place where it's open at times to the world. Unseen they walk among these places where the rites have been said. Again at time passes onward shall they take the resemblance of men. Tall may they be the master who knows the black or the white, but only the white master can control and bind them in the flesh. Seek not the kingdom of shadows, for evil surely appear, for only the master of brightness shall conquer the shadow of fear. So by reading that, for me too, is like, it's like, and they're talking about, the new age stuff now, but by, reading this ancient stuff, it almost, sounds like the exact same thing,
Yeah, it does. So there's a lot of parallels there. It's interesting that it goes. This is back to creation, beyond creation. I mean, it's funny that the religions of the world are biblical, right? Is the term, but there's a whole lot more kind of beyond that this is really speaking to. And just like you said, it's a lot of parallels with what Derek was saying there. I'm not exactly sure. I think we have to revisit the Emerald Tablets at some point. There's so much there that we've done a couple Anunnaki shows in the past, and it's just it's so dense that without just sitting down and reading it, and you get derailed and commercials and calls and stuff that like you never really get through any of it. So I don't know. I'm not sure what to do there because some of these stories are really, really, really dense. But it sounds exactly like very much like what Derek was talking about, the Night Stalker there. So what's your take on that, Kelly? What's your take on it? Pretty good stuff.
Sounds like anti-reptilian propaganda to me.
Yeah, it could be.
You know what? Your people have been here, trying to dominate this world for a while. And that's what, the whole, actually, this, the talk about this is, and that's where I think that, sometimes when I say, we have these conversations and that, like the people that are running these governments and, and that one guy was correct. It's a world government. It's not just one. All these governments are all in together. But the thing about it is it's a control. The religion thing, that's a control thing, And you look at these old, like the 7 tablets of creation, it's called the Enuma Elish, from the Sumerian. That's where you hear all the stories of the Bible, and everything is passed down. Like even the Epic of Gilgamesh, that all those stories. I mean, these are thousands of years before even Jesus was, even though a word or Yahweh, anything like that. These were thousands of years, before all that. So it's just they took these stories and came down. But for me, when I look at that too, like even in Egypt had a lot of knowledge, it had the ancient ways, and even the buildings there that are still, those, like the pyramids, the Great Pyramids of Giza, they're 8-sided, they're not even 4-sided. What's even more credible about that shit? But and then you have the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, where he's Thoth though was actually a god before Egypt, right? He just came to Egypt. He was from Atlantis. And it was the time, that's what, there was believe 8 gods, they called it, the time is called Zep-Tepi, the time before Egypt, But for me, I don't know, man. It's like, I believe, like I was saying earlier, that some of these governments, these things that are running the governments, you hear so many stories that, it's being ran by a different, I don't know if you would call it third dimensional beings that they're here, or different, could be the tall whites I've heard, but there's also all kinds of these species that have interacted with this planet. There's not just one, but there's one controlling, I believe. That's one thing I do believe. And from these ancient things, I would say that it could be, the reptilians, because if they're be able to change shape, it's, and what's crazy is there's actually a tablet from Egypt that claims that Jesus was a shapeshifter, that he was actually black as night, like he was darker than dark, like coal black, and that the reason why Judas had to kiss him on the cheek is because he could change shape. He could change from a little girl to an old man to a woman, and that if he ran through the crowd, they couldn't catch him. So that's the reason why they had it. I mean, that was something that I ran across. It was a story. I don't know if anybody else has seen that, but yeah, situations like that, it's pretty interesting where you find these new ones. But I just want to talk about some of these other creatures that have been found here on this planet, which is pretty interesting too. Was like these beings from Russia, You ever seen them? And I'm talking all these small beings. So we're not always talking giants like we know that those creatures have been around. But you see these other ones that are like small beings. There was one from Russia, for example. One that was from Mexico. I know that everybody's seen. He was a little creature. And I believe even Dr. Robert Greer, he did an investigation on it. But there was one in October 1st, 2002 in Chile. This creature measured about 7.2 centimeters, had a big head, had 2 arms, 2 legs, but it only had 2 fingers on each hand. Another one is that you could look up is called, there were 2 like twin brothers. They were called, the Nabri Pond Flower Pod Elf Fairies. And those actually in a temple. You can find them in Bangkok, Thailand. Or you have this story it's called the Attaboy, the ATTA. Attaboy is, that was from Robert Ripley. And there's pictures of him holding in 1932. It was a creature. It's about only 6.5 inches tall. He got it from a city in Peru. Then you have the story of this one creature called the Pedro. And all the medical tests, and it looked like, did x-rays, and all these ones too, x-rays. They did CAT scans on all these. And, they had, the ones what's interesting about the one Pedro is they think it was a mercy killing because when they did x-rays on it, they could see it had a severe spinal injury. So, and then after that, they had looked like in the head, it looked like, they hit him in the head with a rock, might have put him out of his misery. Or even, for instance, the elongated skulls in Peru, that Brian Forster does, all that information and investigations that he's doing down there.
So Kelly, with all these ancient cultures and all these stories, like of all these different beings, and what do you think? What do you have? Do you have like a really quick? What kind of aliens do you think there are? And do you think they run stuff right now? Do you think they're dictating policy? Do you think like this COVID, this kind of COVID restrictions, this kind of world we're moving toward is being guided by these same beings that have been there this whole time, or do you think some of these have like phased out in the past? Like, what beings do you think exist based on those old stories, and do you think they run stuff now?
Well, if you go by stories too, like the interesting one from Billy Meyer, he talked about the Palladians, that they visited here, or the old stories. The ones that I go through is like the Anunnaki story from Sumeria, right? Or that's just what we call them. I don't even know if that's even the real name for these creatures, Or like you had Valiant Thor that came from Venus, he looked human. The Palladians, they look human. Not just humanoid, but human. They look human, people say they could walk among us and we wouldn't even know it. So, and that's what the Anunnaki, like all these stories, like even the Bible, Genesis, they made man and when they say God says he made him in his image, is actually our image. And, if you look at the Anunnaki story, that's where it was actually Enki, his sister Ninmah, and his son Megazeta. They're the ones who actually created the first, it's called Adamu and Tiamat. There was the first creatures that they, wanted to create because there was a subspecies here that they wanted to manifest, even, give it more. So if you think about it, we're actually Anunnaki, because what they had to do and what they did throughout, all the stories, they created us first, right, in these vessels. And then they had then they mated with us, all these different, tribes or whatever, from the Yagigi to the Anunnaki, they all mated with us. That's where you get the stories from all that. That's in the, stories, like I said, this before that. So if the question for that, for me, is yes, there is somebody here and there's somebody else ruling it, because if you think about it, and if these stories are true, like the Sumerian, they are the grandsons or great-great-grandsons or even the great-great-great-grandsons of these people, right? Of Enki and Lil. The whole two-brother system, or even the sister, they're all integrated where, it's, this being passed down, and who knows what they're fighting for. It could be that they're doing that. But I don't understand why, if it's all, why don't we all know it? It's, you think about these stories, but where if they had the mass control, why ain't they just show themselves and not just be more dominant like that? Or maybe it's because they don't want to scare everybody and that they just want to have the control and just have it like people think it's a simulation, but it's just more of a control thing where all by vibrations and frequencies,
Yeah, I actually have a theory about all this is where, the different extraterrestrials interbreed with different groups of humans, right? So there's like the redheads or the RHDNA. And the reason for that is because once you get to a certain point in your civilization, the actual art of breeding and all this stuff becomes sort of irrelevant with cloning. Let's say you're a mortal being and you just want to pass your genetics on. So maybe our planet is like sort of a genetic housing facility where you basically bring yourself close enough to a human being, right? Some sort of human entity. And then now you could, as humans, they use natural selection to choose the best genetics to go on, right? Think about like high school football, right? The Chad, if you guys are familiar with that, he gets to continue breeding and all this stuff like that. Well, maybe that's a way of keeping the genetics fresh. Maybe cloning, whatever techniques they use, are actually degrade the DNA that you use. So you need a source of a place where you can kind of refresh your DNA or get superior DNA. It's sort of like almost like an AI algorithm that's running constantly that's trying to select the best. I mean, if you look at some of these supermodel people, if you just look on Instagram and look at some butts, there's these butts on Instagram. If you look at some of these people, it's like, wow, they're gorgeous. And a lot of these extraterrestrial beings are very attractive too. I don't know if you heard about that, these humanoids. So maybe they have the ability to choose their form and that they're constantly upgrading and changing the form that they take. That maybe like an actual body is sort of not really a big deal. It's just it's a vessel, and maybe they just change into these vessels to communicate with us. But yeah, the ramifications of the fact that when aliens come down, they're humans is tremendous. It's like that's a mind fuck, right? It's like what the fuck. I was expecting Blee Blop 5.
Well, here's the thing too, and I'm gonna go back to the Sumerian story real quick, because there's at the very end when they were all supposedly trying to they got the creation perfected, right? Well, Enki with the brother was supposed to hand out what they called MEs, right? And what they were was just clones of different embryos. And it was just like what they said, you can make a civilization out of it. So it could be, say, thousands of them or even millions of them, right? So they can multiply, and you can have your own, and they sent them off on different areas of the planet. So that's where I believe that you get like different versions of humans, right? You have Asians, you have, the white culture, you have, or the Caucasian, or you have the Hispanic, or, the black. We all have something a little different about us, right? But for me, even the reason why I say we're all clones is because it's even proven fact through science. If you look through science, and and people call them the doppelganger, right? So you have doppelgangers, even websites you can go and people that look like you around the world. That's because we're all clones. We're all, they all, and it doesn't matter. If you look at even like, I got pictures and stuff like that, tons of that, of examples of that, like people that look like famous actors or whatnot. But I'm talking like one was like George Clooney, and this guy was from like Turkey or something, or like the black. It was like one actor was white, but the other his doppelganger looked black. He was from Africa, or from Asia, or from around the world. So the whole thing is we're all clones, and people. I don't know if people want to agree with that or even believe that, but if you look around in the world. You can even go, I'm telling you, go to the website and you can look at doppelgangers, find my doppelganger. You put your own photo in there and it'll even pop up to 2, 3 of them. These people go out and meet each other. It's pretty crazy. So, yeah, if you go by these stories, from the Anunnaki story, we're all clones. Everybody is. It doesn't matter what race you are. You got a doppelganger in every race, probably. That everybody that looks like just like you.
So are we odd that after all this conversation tonight, we kind of find ourselves talking about clapping alien cheeks? Is that what we're talking about? I'm just saying.
I'm saying that the species, yes, their species. They're mated with us. They created us and mated with us. So what do you think that is? Yes, they had.
Yeah.
That's how human beings. You know what? When science is looking for DNA, that's another thing I researched with a lot is with DNA, right? That's why I'm telling you, if you want to have even upgrade the species, is through DNA. That's the only way you're going to do it. There's blockages. There's upgrades. There's cells that have been divided or multiplied together. There's some of them that's the reason why we have speech, right? So if you look at some of the stuff in there, right, everything's going to be that they call junk DNA because they have no fucking idea what that shit is, right? If you start tinkering with some of that shit, you could probably start who knows? You could probably go invisible. You could do anything, but that's all in a mental thing as well. You gotta, that's meditation, another whole rabbit hole. But yeah, if you think about it, that's the story. So that's the clones. I'm telling you, it's not a lie. I'm telling you, go to doppelganger.com, put your photo in. I'm telling you there's 5-6 people gonna come up. If they've done it in their country, it'll come up.
Fair enough. Good shit, Kelly. We got a call behind you, so we're gonna finish this sucker up. Always good shit from you. I appreciate you listening. You know your family. I thank you so much. Say hi to Michelle for us. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Okay.
All right, brothers. You guys take it easy, man, and peace to the family.
Thanks, brother. You too. There you go. Kelly, the very first guy that ever called into this show way back in the day. Pretty sure it was the Phil Schneider episode years ago. Look, we're building a family here, guys. This is bigger than I ever imagined, to be perfectly honest, at this point, and we ain't even got anywhere yet. So it used to be the dream that you'd be like, dude, can you imagine having a paranormal talk radio show and people actually call in and give you what they think? And holy fuck, we just get. I think if we did like an open call night, we'd probably get wall to wall calls. Like, you guys have been amazing, and thank you so much for all the great takes here. What do you think? Let's see. Oh no, that's not good. All right. So Rohan says he's out. Let's go to Jay. Actually, let's get your take on that, Ash. I know you talked to Kelly a little bit, but let's get your take on what he had to say there.
Yeah, I think that what's interesting is Kelly explored it from a couple of different angles, of ancient origins to, we talked about DNA. But every time humans are at some point, and I think humans have a tough time, excuse me, the Mars gas is really getting to me. But
huff that geyser. The geyser. Bro.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think that's sweet geyser sustenance. But humans have trouble seeing outside their realm, right? And so we're theorizing, and we're like 2 steps away, right? So imagine when we were in the jungle and there was trees and we had a machete. We'd be like, oh, there's the great spirit. It's an owl. Because that's the shit we know. And so, we attach spirit and owl together, and we're like, great owl spirit. So it's kind of similar where it's tough. We're extrapolating. We're taking these theories about beings that, who knows how far in the future they are. And I mean, there's like singular events with weird ass entities, like super sci-fi creatures, where like a whole crowd sees this goddamn thing and they're running around and it's walking around and looks like a fucking robot out of it's literally a 60s black and white movie. It's like, what the fuck was that thing, right? So, I mean, we're dealing with a universe we just don't understand, and it's, we're trying to piece it together, and we're doing the best we can. But holy shit, it's like, it's some fucking gnarly stuff, right? I'm just trying to use as many curse words, and I just want to join the Navy, at this point.
Exactly. The Space Navy. I want to join the Space Navy. I can drop as many F-bombs as everybody. Watch this shit. Yeah, no. All right. So we got, what are we at time-wise? Look, I'm telling you, this has become, I'm telling you guys, some nights, and I'm being perfectly honest, it's a, sometimes it's a grind, right? You're like going through and you're like, fuck, nobody's going to call tonight, right? And you're like 3 hours kind of by yourself is a fucking grind. You're just like, for the next thing. Go back and listen to our shows a year and a half ago. You'll see. I was just like, oh, fuck, I punched myself in the face. But we got Ash here, who's amazing, of course. Robert. Robert actually likes Ash. I can't believe it. Most people say they don't like Ash, but Robert says he likes Ash.
I can't believe it either.
Right? Like holy shit. So we're in this weird bubble where I think my charisma is oozing to Mars and maybe like slathering all over Ash's scales. It's weird, but basically what I'm saying is we have an unbelievable wealth of callers at this point. So many people that know so many amazing things, and not only that, so many people that usually call that haven't even called tonight. Like we could go 5 fucking hours and just get calls like probably most of the damn time. You guys, again, like I said, I can't thank you enough. I promise you, it's like I said, it makes my world go around. Yeah, half the shit I say, you guys taught me. So it's go back to the very first episode and you'll see I didn't know shit about shit. So just saying, like I said, this is not us. This is not me. This is us. So thank you again, Ash, for being here tonight. Let's do the outro with Jay. I think we need to make this a thing, an outro with Jay as we finish this sucker up. Let's get your final thought, Ash. The final pre-thought to the pre-final thought, and then we'll get Jay in here, and then you can drop some F-bombs on Jay. Let's bring him in. Actually, let's bring him in. What's up, Jay? Yeah,
drop some F-bombs. Let's bring him in. Actually,
what's up, buddy?
What's up, Jay?
What if he was like whacking it? You know, you bring him in.
Exactly. Don't be masturbating, Jay, because when we bring you in, it would be awkward. How are you, my friend? We're just
and we're gonna listen to it. You know,
yeah,
we're gonna let it rock. You're gonna be the main segment.
I think one of the things that we have going on is that we have the internet now. You know, we all got forced into the internet over the last 14, 15, 16, however many months it's been. And that's our form of communication, you know? That's the way that we're talking to each other now. It's recorded and redacted, and everybody just needs to socialize. You know, we took the kids to an ice cream social today, and the only thing about the ice cream social was that it was antisocial. Stay away from each other.
I believe that. I totally believe that. They're like, oh, let's everybody get together and not talk or make eye contact.
Run around with you know how the kids kicking the ball out there and the thing and everything else like that. I pulled the ball out of the back of the car and threw it down on the ground, and next thing you know, I had 15 kids running around there kicking the ball around in the yard of the church. You know, it's just people need to talk to each other. You know,
yes, sir.
We're hiding things from each other. You know, we got the internet now, and we're allowed to talk about all these different kinds of things. And we talk about all different. That's why your show's awesome, Mike, because all different things.
Thank you.
And
that's nice.
Well, I don't know everything. I'm sure you don't know everything. I'm sure Ash doesn't know everything, even though he's a reptilian, so we don't really know how good he is.
I still want to make you guys feel bad, you know. But go on, continue.
Give us a little bit of a hint once in a while, man. You know?
How can I can't enslave you guys if you know too much, you know? So, anyway. Continue. You going. Oh, man, this gas is getting me.
I'm just, you know, I mean, it's like when Derek was calling, he was talking about how the way that it was with, maybe they're not dealing with this energy or a thought process or something like that. And then, like, it kind of evolved into a thing where it was almost like ants, you know? You're the larva and you're communicating with all the other ants and stuff like that. This is your job. This is what you're doing. And you're going to be happy about it. You know, it's probably been gone over. Kelly always blows my brain up when he calls in because it's like, wow, dude, you just gave me like 93,000 different things to think about in like 5 minutes.
He's good, and he's just one of them. Like he's good, but we have a lot of people that call in and can just like blow your brain. It's crazy. Like that's the beauty of doing it this way, right? I mean, there's something to be said for crowdsourcing collective information, right? That whole all of us getting together and shooting the shit, kind of like the old school, like they'd say. Imagine the fireside chats if you could talk back. This is kind of what this really has turned into about a lot of things. And like I said, I'm honored, you guys, that for hanging out and being part of this. But yeah, so this is the thing. What do you think, Jay? Should we make this a thing, the outro with Jay, and have you just spend the last 5 minutes with us, and you can talk us up like our hype man, and then give us your thoughts on the show?
Sure. I mean, I'm going to sit there and listen to your show all day long, whether or not you answer my call or not.
No, I'm just saying. I think it's kind of cool to have
because it makes my brain work.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never even thought about this. I've never even heard about this before. I mean, sometimes some of these guys call in and they mention some things, and I'm on Google for like 2 hours. What the hell was that? That's why your show is so credible to me, is because you post the links. I'm not bringing this up because I pulled it out of my derriere. I'm pulling it out because this is what I read that popped up on my, Google News today.
Too much love, guys. Too much love from all you guys today. I got to correct your syntax there. You said why your show is so credible. I think you meant incredible. I'm just kidding. Go ahead, sir. Carry on.
No, it's awesome.
It was too easy.
Right? One of the things, I can't even remember what we were talking about when we started. I got a whole page of notes here.
It was too easy.
And at the top, I got money, 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 money.
Money, 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 money.
It's just, it really does. It seems like, if they came down and talked to you, Mike, or they came down and talked to me and was like, hey, what are we going to do this on? Not necessarily saying that I'm going to say that it's going to make me money, but
you mean the aliens?
How am I going to make sure that I'm okay?
You mean the aliens?
Yeah, the aliens or the field of energy that comes down to talk to me or whatever it is, because we don't know. We can speculate all we want. You know?
No, it's okay. Like
I've got a CD from a ghost hunters trip that I'm trying to get to you, and I still haven't looked at it yet. And there's some stuff on that. They're just pictures and a couple of minutes of video and stuff like that. But it's like, what is that? I don't know what it is. The people that shot the video were like, we don't know what it is either. And it was like, here's the CD for you. And I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with it?
You're gonna save it for years until you become part of a paranormal show community, and then you're gonna share it. That's what you're gonna do with it.
No, I'm gonna give it to you as soon as I make sure it's either the whitewater rafting trip from West Virginia in the New River Gorge with the Boy Scouts, or it's the ghost hunter trip from the Masonic Temple.
Okay, don't send me the third disc it's unlabeled. That might be something else that I don't want to see.
Well, my girlfriend in the shower from that one time. Yeah.
Okay, don't send me that. Don't send
you can send me that. That's fine.
All right.
I got a private message to Ash. I'll send it to Ash privately, and then he can check it out and decide whether or not it's got any F-bombs.
I got to screen it for the show. I got to check for entities. It's very professional process.
Very professional.
But I'm not good at this. I'm doing it with a telephone and an iPad, man.
That's okay. I'm doing
way
it with
behind.
I'm doing it with all this. This is a big setup, but it's okay. All right, so let's finish this sucker up. We're gonna. You get 30 seconds, Jay. You're our hype man. You're the end of this sucker. Lots to think about. Lots to talk about. Go ahead. I'm gonna play some music, and we're gonna dance, and we're gonna have a hell of a time because we've built a hell of a thing here, and I'm proud as hell of all this, and I'm more honored that you guys are taking part of this and spending your time with us. Like I said, it's a brutal, cruel world for people's attention spans, and you guys spend a lot of time with us, and I appreciate that a lot. So let's smash this button, play some music, and. You can tell us something cool, Jay.
I'm prepared today because you got me with Tan Bam because the ladies first.
All right.
She declined, and then you got me last night, so I wrote one down.
All right, go for it.
There seems no human primitive as to have lost its bearing on our own thought, nor so ancient that it has broken connection with our own life.
And there it is. Jay from New York, thank you for being prepared. See, I put you on the spot. Next time, fool you once, never fool me again. Thanks, man.
Trying, Mike. I really am. I'm trying.
Appreciate it, brother. We'll talk to you soon. I'm going to mute you. We're going to finish this up. I'm not moving you out. You can listen here. Ash, let's finish, sucker. Go. Ash, the reptilian from Mars.
Tonight, we talked about if aliens run this bitch. And soon, I'll run this bitch. My name is Ash. I'm the reptilian from Mars. I'm trying to fucking conquer your planet and enslave you. Please tune into my channel on YouTube, Ash the Reptilian from Mars. I have been working on a show during this, and I will be launching shortly. So check it out. There will be some clips from tonight that we shared and talked about. I'll be on there. I might be on the Bunny Show this Sunday, so check me out in my reptilian form. And love you guys. Thanks for all the love. Appreciate it. And, I'm only here once a week, so I'm not going to take any fucking credit. But, I'm just here to pop off and conquer planets. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll check you guys next Wednesday.
Okay, well, as we finish, thanks, guys. Thanks, Ash, for being part of this. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Rohan. Thanks, all the callers. I only mention those two because I can see them in the Discord. If I tried to mention all the callers, I'd miss somebody, and that's just rude. So forgive me for that, but thank you guys for being part of this. Like I said, when Frank and I started this, we had no idea, dude. We had no idea. It was more of a let's see what the fuck happens, and look what happens. We're in a spot with a ton of great people, and I rarely have more fun than being with you guys. So thank you so much. And that's it. We're Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on the Fringe FM. We're doing YouTube D Live and Facebook. We're still doing our thing. We're going to keep talking about this. They can't shut us the fuck up because, well, if they do, we'll just migrate to another platform. So that's it. That's the way things go. And you can't put a lid on proper questions because guess what? They get out. It's like a can of worms. And that's part of the problem, right? Is that you keep... Yeah, anyway... Blah, blah, I digress. I'm a talk show host. I could talk for another hour for about goddamn nothing. But we're done, so I don't have to anymore. So, like I said at the end of this, thanks, Ash. Thanks, everybody, for being part of this tonight. Tomorrow night, we've got a special guest, Armando from the Ubermensch podcast. I met him on Twitter. He's got a great several takes on the UFO phenomena and how the propaganda is actually happening. So tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and we have another special guest and more great stuff talking about UFOs, consciousness, and of course the propaganda that surrounds it. So thanks again. One more time. You guys know the deal. Let's see. Let's pump this music up. As it ends, be sure, be strong, be true. Thanks for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. We're still live. Nobody say anything stupid. We're still live. Nobody say anything stupid. All right. Don't forget, Ash. We're going to talk to... don't do it. We're going to talk to...